Chapter 2109. Big, too big. The Black Tortoise Continent is much bigger than the White Tiger Continent. In the entire profound world, the closer you are to the gate of heaven's chosen, the larger the land area. Not to mention anything else, just the western region is probably as big as the White Tiger Continent. Xindian replied, "No way, it's really that big." Ling Xiao's understanding of the Black Tortoise Continent was limited to the vicinity of Ascension Town. He really didn't know much about it. Xindian replied, "The Chun country and Volcano country you mentioned before are actually just two small countries in the Black Tortoise Continent. I thought it was too small, so I didn't know." "No way. The Chun country is made up of 13 provinces, and under each province there are 4 counties. Each county is made up of dozens or even hundreds of towns. This Ascension Town belongs to the 8 Immortals County." Ling Xiao was really a little surprised. A country like the Chun country, if placed in the Divine Phoenix Continent, would definitely be considered a big country. But Xindian actually said it was small? "That's because you don't know enough about the Black Tortoise Continent." Xindian shook his head and said, "The Chun country and Volcano country you mentioned should belong to the Black Snake Domain. The Black Snake Domain is ruled by the Black Snake Demon Sect. There are thousands of countries under it, and the Chun country and Volcano country are just 2 insignificant countries. Just in the western region, there are 5 major forces, and each force has thousands of countries under them. Do you understand?" Hearing Xindian's words, Ling Xiao was stunned. He originally thought that the 5 major forces of the western region already represented the strongest forces in the Black Tortoise Continent. He didn't expect that he was just a frog at the bottom of a well. It seemed that ruling the Black Tortoise Continent was much more difficult than ruling the White Tiger Continent. He really couldn't be anxious. He could only calm his heart and take it step by step. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and put Xindian aside to rest. He began to refine pills. Cultivation was the most important thing. Without cultivation, everything else was meaningless. The reason why he had no choice but to stay in this dangerous place was because his strength was inferior to Qingkuin and Ling Moyu. Otherwise, he wouldn't be hiding here. What Ling Xiao refined for himself was also the Celestial Marrow Cleansing Pill and the Grotto Heaven's Spiritual Essence Pill. However, he added a few special herbs to increase the medicinal efficacy and also added some other effects. It could be said that the benefits were 2 to 3 times more than ordinary medicinal pills. His cultivation speed was already fast, and with the help of this pill, it was only a matter of time before he caught up with or even surpassed Ling Moyu and Chen Kuan. "Hey, Ling Xiao, do you have anything to eat?" Before Ling Xiao even had the time to refine the pill, he suddenly heard the divine grimoire speak. "Didn't you turn into a sword? How can you still eat?" Ling Xiao asked in surprise. "Spirit stones, demon beast cores, pills, and even the energy of magical treasures are my food." Xindian replied, "Your taste is very similar to our butterfly ladies." Ling Xiao smiled bitterly. He knew that there was no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Although this magic sword was incomparably powerful if one wanted to nurture it, other than him, the apothecary, no one else could do it. This was a rich man's toy. While speaking, Ling Xiao gave Xindian 10 celestial marrow cleansing pills that he had refined before. Fortunately, this divine grimoire's appetite was not big. 10 celestial marrow cleansing pills were enough for her to eat for 10 days. After 10 days, he would think of a way. Anyway, there are many demon beasts in this mountain range. At worst, he could get more demon beast cores. After doing this, he began to concentrate on refining pills. Although the pills refined this time were relatively high-end, the quantity was not too much, so the time spent was not long. From the beginning to the end of refining pills, he only spent 1 night. Boom! After refining the pills, just as Ling Xiao was about to concentrate on his cultivation, the entire cave suddenly began to shake nonstop. Ling Xiao was shocked. To be able to shake the cave, The thing outside must not be weak. He opened his Tai Chi eye, and suddenly his heart could not help but turn cold. Outside the cave, there was a giant bear. This giant bear's entire body was suffused with an earthy yellow light. If Ling Xiao remembered correctly, the book should have talked about the origin of this giant bear. Earth bear. It is good at using the power of back earth. Its skin is rough and its flesh is thick. Its defense is powerful and its strength is incomparably terrifying. This earth bear outside the cave is actually a Grotto Heaven demon beast, and it's a third Grotto Heaven demon beast. With Ling Xiao's current strength, he could not do anything to it at all. It was the same reason that Ling Xiao was currently unable to defeat Ling Mayu and Qin Kuan. Moreover, at transcendent demon beasts and above, their intelligence was about the same as human martial artists. They were also good at martial techniques and secret methods. Wanting to outsmart them was also a fool's dream. I can't stay here. Although Ling Xiao didn't know why the Bear of the Earth would come here to cause trouble, he knew very well that with the Bear of the Earth's strength, although it couldn't destroy the formation at the entrance of the cave, it could collapse the entire mountain. He had to leave as soon as possible. If you don't let me have a good time, I'll kick your nest. Ling Xiao was very unhappy in his heart. He tied up the divine grimoire again and then used Shadow Step. While the Earth Bear was not paying attention, he hurriedly left. His destination this time was precisely the lair of the Earthen Bear. Originally, he only wanted to steadily consume the refined pills and then cultivate properly. After his cultivation increased, he would leave this place. But this Earth Bear insisted on provoking him. Then it could not blame him for being ruthless. This time, he not only wanted to kill this Earth Bear and use it to strengthen his violent bear martial spirit, he also wanted to fish out all the good things in this Earth Bear's nest. When he arrived at the Earth Bear's nest, Ling Xiao deliberately turned back and used Tai Chi Eye. The Earth Bear was still ramming into the cave he was in just now. At this time, the cave had many cracks and could collapse at any time. If he was still in there just now, it would be terrible. Thinking of this, he directly walked into the Earth Bear's nest. In the nest, there was no aura of life, but one could feel a bit of bloody smell. When he walked to the deepest part, he was really shocked. There was a small mountain of demonic beast crystal cores. Because the demonic beast crystal cores were still stained with flesh and blood, it was quite terrifying. Other than the demonic beast crystal cores, he also found many human bones, including some storage rings that were thrown to the side. The things inside had not been taken out yet. Good fellow, this Earth Bear is really cruel. It actually killed so many people. But this idiot should not know how to take things out from the storage rings. It's a good thing for me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He directly put all the demonic beast crystal cores into his storage ring. Although his storage ring was small, this time he obtained a total of 5 storage rings from the Earth Bear's nest. It was enough to contain these demonic beast crystal cores. These demonic beast crystal cores were not only enough for the divine grimoire to eat. Chapter 2110. After snatching the Earthen Bear's treasure, Ling Xiao did not dare to stay any longer. He quickly left the cave and ran towards another place. He could now roughly understand why the Earthen Bear found his resting place. The Earthen Bear had a very sharp sense of smell and a strong power of back earth. It could sense many subtle smells. He reckoned that the other party must have caught him when he was refining pills earlier. This time he did not need to refine pills. He believed that he could cultivate steadily. There were many caves here. Ling Xiao quickly found the next safe place. Putting the divine grimoire aside, Ling Xiao began to cultivate crazily. Those pills and monster cores were eaten by him as if they were delicious food. The energy kept colliding in his body, but it was unable to cause him any harm. One must know that when Ling Xiao was in the Myriad Thunder Extreme Grounds, he even ate the Azura monster core and demon seed. Although it was extremely painful at that time, his body was greatly strengthened. Although this kind of strengthening would slowly recover after he reincarnated. A mere demonic beast crystal core would not pose any threat to him. The hot and dry flow in his body was the energy from the mixture of the demonic beast core and the elixir. As long as this energy was completely converted into his own cultivation, Ling Xiao believed that he would be able to break through to the Grotto Heaven realm in a few days. Once he entered the Grotto Heaven realm, those kids of the Ling family would not be his match. And if that earthen bear did not know what was good for it and still attacked him, he did not mind killing that guy and taking out the monster core to strengthen his brother's martial spirit. Breaking through to the Grotto Heaven realm was more difficult than breaking through to the ordinary realm. But because of the experience, a breakthrough was inevitable. This was also the reason why a martial artist who had reincarnated could definitely advance to the rebirth realm as long as he did not die. For a Grotto Heaven realm martial artist, before reaching the original cultivation, there was no cultivation barrier. The only thing they feared was death or serious injury. After swallowing dozens of monster cores, a terrifying energy wave began to bombard the cultivation barrier. Just 2 hours had passed, and the barrier to the top level of the celestial realm had been blasted apart. That energy was like a river flowing into the sea, entering the next realm. Still not enough. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and spent 2 whole hours consolidating his cultivation base at the top level of the sky human stage. But that was not enough. If his cultivation was limited to this level, it would still be somewhat difficult for him to defeat the Earth Bear. Therefore, looking at the demonic beast cores piled up like a small mountain, and feeling the medicinal power that had not been completely digested in his body, Ling Xiao continued to eat heartily. The power continued to grow, continuous strengthening. When he had eaten nearly 200 demonic beast cores, his originally calm body once again became turbulent. Wave after wave of energy surged through his body. The gate of the Grotto Heaven opened a crack, and Ling Xiao's cultivation advanced from the top level of the celestial being realm to the half-step Grotto Heaven realm. However, Ling Xiao was still not satisfied. As long as he stayed in the celestial realm, he would be very passive when facing Ling, Mou, and Qin Kuan. Even if he could win, it would be very difficult. He wanted to win in an easier way. He wanted to use an even more domineering method to announce that he, Ling Xiao, was the #1 genius of Ascension Town. No one else was worthy. I feel that the first transformation, half-step Grotto Heaven realm, is indeed much stronger than when I was in the same realm. In the past, with this realm, although I could win against the first Grotto Heaven realm martial artist, it was still very difficult. But now, even if I face the second Grotto Heaven realm martial artist, I can probably win easily. Entering the world of reincarnation, it was indeed the right choice. Although there is the risk of 10 reincarnations, the benefits in the end are endless. Not only can I open up a higher realm of martial arts and truly reach the immortal realm, but I will also be stronger in the future. To be honest, when he had just entered the world of reincarnation and saw what was happening around him, Ling Xiao was really a little confused. He didn't know if he had made the right choice. However, as his strength continued to increase, he understood that the strength of the first transformation was definitely not what those ordinary martial artists could imagine. Next, I will first consolidate my current cultivation and finally break through to the Grotto Heaven realm. Although Ling Xiao was anxious to break through, he also knew the principle of gradual improvement. The result of a rash breakthrough might be an unstable foundation. This was the last thing he wanted to see. The consolidation of the half-step Grotto Heaven realm took a little longer than before. It took a full 2 days for it to be done. Next, he turned his gaze to the remaining demonic beast cores. He kept a portion of them and prepared to use it as food for the divine codex. He was going to eat the remaining nearly 500. Others' bodies might not be able to withstand it, but Ling Xiao had the mystic world body, so he did not care about this. He did as he thought. Ling Xiao began to eat crazily again. More than 10 minutes later, all the remaining 500 monster cores had been eaten into his stomach, and he used the Tyrant Heaven Martial Soul to convert them. The space of the half-step grotto heaven realm was basically filled. Logically speaking, there should be no problem breaking through it this time. However, Ling Xiao tried several times and failed in the end. Every time he saw the grotto heaven door about to fully open, it would close again, and he always felt that something was missing. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao stopped cultivating. He looked at the earth bear's nest in the distance. At this time, the earth bear had returned and was roaring crazily. "You're the one!" Ling Xiao gritted his teeth. As long as he could obtain the demonic beast crystal core of the earthly bear, not only would it strengthen his martial spirit, allowing the ordinary violent bear martial spirit to evolve into the earthly bear martial spirit, it would also help him break through to the paradise realm. Originally, he planned to kill that guy after breaking through, but now it seemed that this plan had to be brought forward. With his current cultivation, he should be able to defeat the earth bear. Moreover, he was in the wilderness, so he could use his previous ability without any scruples. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao came out of the cave and rushed toward the earth bear. As soon as he came out of the cave, the earth bear also felt his existence at the same time and rushed toward him crazily. "This is good. You want to kill me, and I want to kill you. Roar." The earth bear roared, and its whole body was wrapped in a yellow light. It waved its huge claws and slapped toward Ling Xiao. There was really no reason to talk to this kind of monster. The only thing to do was to fight. "Be careful." The voice of the divine grimoire came out. In this wilderness, it was quite rare to hear such sincere words of concern. "Don't worry. Since I'm here, I have the confidence to defeat it." Ling Xiao was very confident. He had reason to be confident. Chapter 2111. Ling Xiao could only release his original power in this desolate place. The divine codex was just a sword. Even if he saw it, it was nothing. At the very least, before he recovered his cultivation, he wouldn't let this sword leave his side. "Before I reincarnated, I used the demonic fiend seed to completely cultivate the heavenly demon incarnation. From then on, the heavenly demon incarnation turned into an even stronger heavenly demon battle body. Today, I'll let this bear have a taste of how terrifying my heavenly demon battle body is." Ling Xiao looked at the bear of earth pouncing over and actually waved his hands unhurriedly. In just an instant, his body was wrapped in a black aura. Then, a terrifying heavenly demon king appeared in front of the bear of earth. This heavenly demon king was nearly 10 meters tall and looked down at the earth. Just that terrifying demonic intent alone was enough to make the bear of earth tremble in fear. The bear of earth that was charging over actually stopped at that moment. It seemed to be judging how strong this terrifying fellow was. "Roar!" The bear of earth roared crazily as an endless amount of earth power was released from the ground and poured into its body. A moment later, the bear of earth was covered in a layer of yellow armor, and its body became even bigger. It was originally 4 to 5 meters tall, but now it was 7 to 8 meters tall. Although it was still not as good as Ling Xiao's heavenly demon battle body, at least it wasn't at a disadvantage like before. If he used his heavenly demon battle body with his previous cultivation, Ling Xiao wouldn't dare to fight this bear of earth head-on. Because his cultivation was too low, he couldn't fight it head-on. But now his cultivation had risen from the high-level sky human realm to the half-step grotto heaven realm, and he was only 1 step away from entering the grotto heaven realm. He was more than just a little bit stronger than before. Facing this bear of earth, he naturally had the power to fight. Boom! The heavenly demon king and the bear of earth collided. Ling Xiao's heavenly demon battle body took half a step back, but he wasn't injured. But the bear of earth took 2 steps back, and the earth armor on its body had obvious cracks. Obviously, Ling Xiao already had some advantage in the form of the heavenly demon battle body when facing a 3rd grotto heaven realm existence. But this advantage wasn't big. Therefore, it did not scare the bear of the earth away. The giant bear pounded its chest crazily, then roared again and rushed towards Ling Xiao. This time, the momentum was even more ferocious than before. Demonic beasts were like this. Although their intelligence was close to that of humans, they were still used to relying on their instincts to fight. This kind of fighting method was naturally very useful against those who were timid. However, against someone like Ling Xiao, who was so audacious that he even dared to target a king of sovereigns, it wasn't very effective. The crazy and fearless attacks had indeed caused some trouble for Ling Xiao, because Ling Xiao didn't want to die, but the Earth Bear didn't care about that. During the battle, Ling Xiao kept retreating. A large number of trees were trampled on the ground by him, scaring the surrounding demonic beasts into fleeing. With such powerful monsters fighting here, unless they wanted to die, no demonic beast would dare to stay here. The phantom image of the divine codex emerged from the magic sword and watched the battle with a dumbfounded expression. She had previously thought that Ling Xiao was just a very ordinary warrior she had met in this small Yuhua town. She had even thought of quietly escaping and leaving Ling Xiao when she had more or less recovered. Even if she, the divine codex, wanted to find a master, someone who could protect her, she had to find a true powerhouse. Ling Xiao wasn't qualified at all, but that was all in the past. The moment Ling Xiao displayed the heavenly devil battle body, the divine codex's eyes widened. At that moment, there was an indescribable feeling. It was as if she had fallen in love at first sight, but it wasn't the same. In short, at that moment, she was certain that Ling Xiao could help her recover to her original state. She also believed that she could entrust the things she carried on her back to Ling Xiao. It seems that just the heavenly devil battle body isn't enough to defeat this crazy guy. To avoid trouble, I have to use some other methods. Ling Xiao thought as he retreated. At that moment, a pitch-black universe suddenly appeared behind him. You actually want me to use the Sky Tyrant martial soul to kill you. You, the Earth Bear, can be proud. Ling Xiao smiled coldly. The huge demon claw slapped down. The earthen bear clearly felt fear and actually turned around to flee. It's too late. Sky Tyrant Heavenly Devil Claw. The pitch-black demon claw seemed to stretch out from the depths of the universe. It was so huge that it was unbelievable. The Earth Bear roared crazily, trying to block the attack. However, it was useless. The terrifying demon claw covered the sky and covered the sun. The darkness enveloped everything. The huge claw finally pressed the Earth Bear to the ground. The earth armor shattered one after another. The giant bear was actually shaken to death by Ling Xiao. Seeing this scene, the divine codex was even more shocked. She even had a fanatical feeling. Compared to the heavenly devil battle body, the Sky Tyrant martial soul displayed by Ling Xiao fascinated her and made her crazy. Why is my luck so good? This should be the Mountain River martial soul. Moreover, it's a strengthened Mountain River martial soul. She was extremely excited and full of hope. It seems that escaping this time was the right thing to do. Otherwise, how could I meet such a strong person? Don't be obsessed with me. I'm just a legend. Ling Xiao instantly withdrew the Sky Tyrant martial soul and the heavenly devil battle body. The things that he was familiar with were indeed powerful and overbearing when used. It was a pity that once he went to a crowded place, he could only hide it. For his own safety, he had to do this. Fortunately, after killing the Earth Bear, he could get the demon beast core of the Earth Bear. Next, his cultivation was bound to make a breakthrough. In this way, as long as he could advance to the first Grotto Heaven realm, then even if he didn't use the heavenly devil battle body and the Sky Tyrant martial soul, he wouldn't be afraid of Ling Mayu and Qin Kuan. He took out the demon beast core of the Earth Bear and then threw its body into the storage ring. This Earth Bear was full of treasures. It was a pity to throw it away. Let's go. Ling Xiao took the godly codex and returned to the cave where he had been cultivating. He knew how Xindian felt about him now. This was the effect he wanted. In actual combat, the heavenly devil battle body and the Sky Tyrant martial soul In addition to defeating the Earth Bear faster, the other reason was naturally to let Xindian follow him obediently and not always think about escaping. If you weren't attractive enough, why would such an outstanding secret sword stay by your side? Charm? Don't be funny. In this world, there was nothing more unreliable than charm. Only benefits were eternal. The key was that the secret sword was different from other magic weapons. It couldn't be dripped with blood to recognize its master. If he wanted to keep it by his side, this was the only way. His goal was achieved. Not only did he kill the Earth Bear, but he also made Xindian his most loyal fan. Chapter 2112. A few days later, a person came out of the dense forest. This youth looked to be about 12 or 13 years old, but his body was very sturdy. One look and one could tell that he was a martial artist. After cultivating bitterly for several days, I finally broke through. Ling Moyu, this time I'll beat you until you're looking for your teeth on the ground and make you pay the price for your arrogance. This youth was naturally Ling Xiao. Counting the days, it was also time for the Ling family's annual gathering. He cultivated bitterly in this wilderness for nearly a month, and his cultivation finally broke through to the Grotto Heaven realm. And this breakthrough was the low level of the Grotto Heaven realm, equivalent to the third Grotto Heaven realm cultivation. This was the advantage of a first transformation reincarnation realm martial artist. He prepared to return to the Ling family. On one hand, he naturally had to hand over the refined medicinal pills to Ling Yuhua. No matter what, Ling Yuhua could not be offended for the time being. After all, that old thing was at the Yinyang realm. He was still not a match for him now. Even if he used the night demon flower, it was impossible. Outside the forest, there were still people guarding. But to the current Ling Xiao, they did not pose a threat at all. When Ling Xiao walked out of the forest and was on the way back to the Ling family, the Ling family's annual gathering had already officially begun. This annual gathering not only had martial arts competitions, but there was also eating, drinking, and playing. The Ling family invited the reputable figures of Yuhua town to participate, including the Qin family. The purpose of the martial arts competition was very simple. On one hand, it was to test the cultivation results of the next generation in this year. On the other hand, it was naturally to flaunt their strength to other families. The battles on the stage were already very exciting to the people of Yuhua town. After all, the martial artists of Yuhua town only had so much experience. Of course, it was undeniable that in this small place, the battles still had some eye-catching aspects. At the very least, Ling Wansui, Ling Mayu, and Ling Jiaojiao's performances were especially outstanding. Up until now, many martial artists had already been eliminated. It could be said that it was already nearing the end. But Ling Xiao still had not returned. Sitting beside Ling Yuhua was a young man around 20 years old. His eyes were bright like stars, and his face was like jade. His body emitted a sharp aura that belonged to a swordsman. This person was the 7-star Sword Palace's outer sect disciple, Ling Jian. Ling Jian was much stronger than Ling Moyu, regardless of cultivation or strength. Therefore, he could be said to be the number one in the younger generation of the Ling family. His strength had long been recognized by all the higher-ups in the clan. He was Ling Yuhua's most beloved grandson. Therefore, he was not a participant in this year's annual meeting, but one of the referees. Jen, tell Grandpa, what do you think about the current situation? Ling Yuhua had the intention of grooming Ling Jian. Thus, during the duel, he had the intention of letting Ling Jian comment on the battle. Yes, Grandpa. Ling Jian cupped his hands and said, So far, there aren't many surprises. Little sister Mo, Yu's cultivation actually broke through to the 4th Grotto Heaven realm. This was really a pleasant surprise, but it was also reasonable. What surprised me was Sister Jiao Jiao. Her cultivation had actually broken through to the 3rd Grotto Heaven realm. Not only that, the The wind and rain sword art of Heaven Mountain that she was using was truly interesting. It was only a low-tier gold grade sword skill, but it was able to display the power of a low-tier jade grade sword skill. I wonder if it was you who helped her modify it? I'm not in the mood for that. Ling Yuhua shook his head. In fact, what he wanted to say in his heart was that even if he wanted to do so, he did not have that kind of ability. That's interesting. Every move and style of Sister Jiao Jiao seems to have been guided by an expert. When she fought in the past, she was rigid in defense and was not like a swordsman at all. But now, her sword is unconventional, and every move is swift and fierce. Although the enemy knows that her defense is not good, they can't attack her at all. As long as they get close, they will be threatened by her swift and fierce sword skill. Amazing! Amazing! This girl must have an expert guiding her behind. In time, she will definitely surpass Sister Mou. Even I'm a little nervous. Ling Jian was also a swordsman, so he was very clear about the huge changes in Ling Jiao Jiao. You mean Jiao Jiao is still not Mou's opponent? Ling Yuhua asked. At least not yet. Sister Mou, as an outer disciple of Linglong Palace, also has an expert guiding her. I think she may become the first in this year's annual meeting. Ling Jian replied. It's in line with this old man's thoughts. Ling Yuhua nodded his head in satisfaction. This grandson really made him more and more proud. By the way, grandfather, I heard that the slaveling Shao is going to have a showdown with Sister Mou at this annual meeting. Why don't I see him? When Ling Jian talked about others, he seemed to be very polite and spoke calmly. But when talking about Ling Shao, he kept calling him a slave. It could be seen that in this person's heart, he also looked down on Ling Shao extremely. Don't worry about him. He probably won't come to this year's annual meeting. Ling Yuhua shook his head and said, This boy, this old man, will catch him sooner or later and tear him into pieces. In Ling Yuhua's view, Ling Shao had not returned yet. He must have escaped with those medicinal herbs. He had also sent people to search everywhere recently, but there was no trace of him. He was really annoyed. The dignified Ling family patriarch was actually played by a child. How could he believe that the boy could refine the celestial marrow cleansing pill and grotto heaven spirit essence pill? It was ridiculous to think about it. There's no need for grandfather to take action. Grandson can take his life. This slave harbored evil intentions and hid his strength. He must be up to no good. Killing him is not wrong. Ling Jian also gritted his teeth and said he had never even seen Ling Shao before, but he hated Ling Shao to the bone. This seemed incomprehensible, but it was reasonable, because Ling Shao was like a slave in his eyes. He actually defeated Ling Bei and almost killed Ling Wansui. He felt that this was an insult to the Ling family's face. From the bottom of his heart, he did not treat this Ling Shao as a family. All right, let's not talk about it. This competition has reached the final showdown. I should announce it. Ling Yuhua said, then stood up and said, This is the showdown between the top 4 of this year's annual meeting. Ling Moyu, Ling Jiao Jiao, Ling Wansui, and Ling Yan. The 4 of you can draw lots. The one who needed to be mentioned here was Ling Yan. The Ling family had 3 reincarnation realm martial artists. One was Ling Shao, and the other 2 were Ling Yan and Ling Jian. Ling Jian entered the reincarnation realm relatively early. Now, he had already made a name for himself. Ling Yan was earlier than Ling Shao, but he was more low-key. This year's annual meeting's performance was very dazzling. He defeated many Ling family martial artists and finally reached this step. So, no one would look down on him. The 4 people drew lots. The result was Ling Moyu against Ling Yan, and Ling Jiao Jiao against Ling Wansui. The winner of the 2 groups would fight for the first place. The loser of the 2 groups would fight for the 3rd place. The first battle was between Ling Jiao Jiao and Ling Wansui. Ling Wansui was once almost killed by Ling Xiao. Later, he worked hard and made great progress under the guidance of the mysterious snake demon sex experts. Chapter 21:13. Ling Wansui's cultivation wasn't as good as Ling Jiaojiao's, but he hated Ling Jiaojiao to the bone. At that time, he tried to frame Ling Xiao by using the demonic madness powder, but he was defeated by Ling Jiaojiao instead. Although he wasn't killed at that time, he couldn't raise his head in the Ling family for such a long time. He was the one who hurt her, but he hated her for not letting him hurt her. This kind of person was really shameless. Similarly, Ling Jiaojiao naturally wouldn't let Ling Wansui off. If the family could face the demonic madness powder, then Ling Wansui would have been killed long ago. How could he still be here at the annual meeting? Since the family didn't help her uphold justice, then she would kill Ling Wansui on this stage. She believed in her ability. With the improved 1,000 mountain wind and rain sword that Ling Xiao gave her and a cultivation technique that completely reached the extreme, killing Ling Wansui was absolutely no problem. Ling Jiaojiao, you don't want to marry me, so I will ruthlessly humiliate you in front of everyone, so that you can't raise your head. Ling Wansui looked at Ling Jiaojiao fiercely. His attitude was very arrogant. Because he knew that his cultivation wasn't as good as his opponent, he wanted to use psychological tactics to make Ling Jiaojiao lose her mind. Do you know what I did after I gave you the demonic madness powder? Hee, I played with you, young miss, but in the Ling family, except for that trash Ling Xiao, no one stood up for you. Ling Wansui continued. You must feel very unhappy, right? Ha! His voice wasn't loud, so only Ling Jiaojiao could hear it. Are you finished? Ling Jiaojiao's face was like frost, but her heart was like still water. She looked at Ling Wansui indifferently and asked. Ling Wansui was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that this impulsive girl would become so calm, which made him a little surprised. Of course, he didn't know that the cultivation technique that Ling Xiao gave Ling Jiaojiao could make a swordsman completely immersed in the attack, and her heart was like still water. Outside factors could rarely disturb Ling Jiaojiao. If you're finished, then go to hell. Use your life to pay for your sins. You want to fight with Ling Xiao? You're not worthy. Then the wind. A gust of wind was an invisible sword qi. Ling Wansui's head fell to the ground. Ling Jiaojiao calmly sheathed her sword and didn't even look at Ling Wansui's corpse. Jiaojiao, you're crazy. Ling Tianxiong stood up abruptly and roared. How could you kill someone at the annual meeting? And the person you killed was your brother. Ling Jiaojiao looked at Ling Tianxiong expressionlessly and said coldly, Brother? Whose brother would use demonic madness powder to poison his own sister? As a father, if you don't know how to seek justice for your daughter, then I will seek justice for myself. You thought that you could hide the matter of the demonic madness powder from the world and avoid becoming the laughingstock of Ascension Town, but you forgot that there is no such thing as an impenetrable wall in this world. You, the upper echelons of the Ling clan, have long become the laughingstock of the entire Yuhua town. Only my younger brother, Ling Xiao, treats me the best. She's the only one who's willing to help me pull myself together. After she finished speaking, she walked down the arena. The faces of the upper echelons of the Ling family were as dark as the bottom of a pot. Ling Jiaojiao actually didn't care about their face and said everything. But they never thought that a girl was poisoned with demonic madness powder and was even defiled. They didn't care and didn't ask. Did they take this girl's dignity seriously? Ling Yuhua's face was also very ugly. He slammed the table and said, Take Ling Jiaojiao away and guard her strictly. How dare she talk nonsense in public and tarnish the reputation of the Ling clan? Yes, Ling Jiaojiao's heart was mournful. If there was no Ling Xiao, she might immediately choose to commit suicide. Anyway, the enemy had already been killed. Her life had no meaning. But with Ling Xiao there was still a warm current in her ice-cold heart. She didn't resist and let those people take her away. Seeing Ling Jiaojiao leave, Ling Moyu actually breathed a sigh of relief. Ling Jiaojiao's sword was too strong. Ling Wansui actually didn't react. If it were her, she might be able to block it, but she would definitely be injured. What happened to this girl? How did she become so powerful all of a sudden? Now that Ling Jiaojiao was taken away, her opponent was only left with Ling Yan alone. Although Ling Yan was formidable, he was her people. Even though they might exchange blows in order to convince people, it was also merely putting on an act. The reality was like so. The so-called decisive battle unfolded between Ling Moyu and Ling Yan. The two people fought quite vigorously. But during the battle, Ling Yan deliberately showed a flaw and was knocked off the stage by Ling Moyu, directly admitting defeat. This flaw was sold very subtly. The people who could see through it were not many. Only Ling Yuhua and a few martial artists with better eyesight could pry into the mystery within. But they also did not dare to be certain. After all, Ling Yan was a martial artist who reincarnated into the world. His combat skills were probably even more formidable than Ling Yuhua, that old fellow. As long as he wanted to admit defeat, others could not easily see through it. Ling Yan and Ling Xiao basically came to the Ling family one after the other. But the two people chose two completely different paths. Ling Yan attached himself to Ling Moyu and was doing very well. Ling Xiao was not willing to attach himself to anyone and was doing rather miserably. This was the biggest crisis for a reincarnated martial artist. When your strength was relatively weak and you had not fully recovered, there were really many people who could bully you and make you uncomfortable. At this time, everyone's choice was different. It could not be said that Ling Yan's choice was wrong, but such a choice, at least Ling Xiao, was a little unbearable. Letting him attach himself to a woman like Ling Moyu, he might as well die quickly. All right, today's annual competition is over. The champion has also come out. Ling Moyu, the pride of our Ling family. Ling Yuhua stood up, looked at Ling Moyu on the stage, and announced loudly. Below the stage, Qin Kuan could not help but nod in satisfaction. It seems that Ling Xiao is simply a complete coward. I don't know where he escaped to. This year's annual competition is already over, but he still hasn't appeared. It's really ridiculous. Ling Moyu also looked at Qin Kuan affectionately. Although the two had a little conflict because of the secret sword, it was not a big deal. Qin Kuan liked Ling Moyu because Ling Moyu was good-looking enough. Ling Moyu liked Qin Kuan because Qin Kuan was outstanding enough. At least among all the young disciples of Yuhua Town, there were no more than two people who could beat Qin Kuan. And those two people were older than Qin Kuan. Wait. Just as Ling Yuhua finished announcing and was about to award the champion's prize to Ling Moyu, a voice sounded. Then a figure flew onto the stage like a meteor. The youth now looked about 13 years old. Standing on the stage, he was not as tall as Ling Moyu, but his aura still made everyone unable to help but take another look. You actually dared to come back. Chapter 21:14. Ling Moyu had long determined that Ling Xiao was timid and would never dare to come back. But Ling Xiao actually came back before the award ceremony, which made her very unhappy. Why wouldn't I dare to come back? Why can't I come back? I didn't do anything wrong. Ling Xiao said disdainfully. Then he looked around but did not find Ling Jiaojiao and little Fifth. He could not help but frown and looked directly at Ling Yuhua. Old man, you went back on your words. Do you not want those things anymore? Ling Yuhua did not care that Ling Xiao was so rude to him. He asked directly, Did you really do it? Nonsense. If I didn't do it, if I came back, wouldn't I be cut into pieces by you? Ling Xiao had improved his strength this time and was more confident than before. Although he was definitely not this old thing's opponent, he was confident that he could escape. Good, very good. After I give out the award, let's go to my study room to talk. Ling Yuhua was very excited. Other things did not seem to matter. as long as Ling Xiao could successfully refine the medicinal pills he requested, then their Ling family would inevitably become powerful quickly. Qin family and other families in Yuhua town would be suppressed. Wait, you haven't answered my question yet. Ling Zhao's tone was a bit cold. Don't worry, Jiao Jiao just killed Ling Wansui and said some nonsense, so she faced the wall to reflect. As for your servant, Little Fifth, he was arranged to work in the small courtyard of Bei. It's much more lively there and the food is good. After all, no one has lived in your small courtyard for a long time. It's too hard for him to work alone. Ling Yuhua tried to make his smile as gentle as possible and said with a smile. This scene caused everyone to be somewhat stunned. When did the domineering and ruthless Ling family patriarch, Ling Yuhua, become so polite to such a kid? They could not understand. Okay, bring the two of them to see me. Ling Xiao stared at Ling Yuhua and said, Ling Xiao, don't go too far. How dare you be so presumptuous in front of the patriarch? Ling Moyu angrily rebuked. Shut up. Who do you think you are? How dare you be noisy in front of me? Scram to the side. Ling Xiao suddenly glared at Ling Mou. Ling Mou was so scared that he retreated a few steps and almost fell down from the ring. In terms of aura, martial artists who had entered samsara were truly much more valiant than ordinary martial artists. Old man, I don't ask for much. I just want you to bring the two of them out. Seeing that they're fine, I'll give them to you immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Everyone, today's annual meeting will end here. You may leave now. Ling Yuhua frowned and cupped his hands at the guests today. His voice was laced with menace. Therefore, many people who came to watch the show turned around and left. They did not dare to stay any longer. They had heard of Ling Yuhua's reputation. He was someone who dared to kill at the slightest provocation. He was truly cruel and heartless. In the blink of an eye, most of the people had left. Only the Ling family and a few people from the Qin family were still there. Everyone from the Qin family, please leave as well. Next will be our family matters. Ling Yuhua said, Let's go. It's better not to interfere in other people's family matters. Qin Kuin's father, Chen Ran, wanted to stay and see what exactly was going on. He wanted to know what exactly Ling Xiao had in his hands that could make Ling Yuhua hesitate. However, he had no choice. He had to leave. Otherwise, if Ling Yuhua, that old man, really got angry, it would be troublesome. As for what would happen next, he did not have to worry. Anyway, they had arranged a spy in the Ling family. Whatever happened here, they would know about it very soon. After Chen Ran, Qin Kuin, and the rest left, Ling Yuhua then asked someone to bring Ling Jiao Jiao and Little Fifth over. Ling Jiao Jiao was fine. After seeing Ling Xiao, she excitedly pounced on him like a girl who saw her lover. However, that Little Fifth was in serious trouble. Little Fifth was carried over. It seemed that her legs were already crippled. Moreover, there were many whip injuries on her body. Ling Zhao's face instantly turned cold. He glanced at Ling Jiao Jiao. Ling Jiao Jiao suddenly cried, I'm sorry. I didn't take good care of her. This order was given by my father. They forcefully arranged for Little Fifth to stay in my brother's courtyard. I've been grounded. Other than cultivating, I can't do anything else. It's all my fault. Forget it. It has nothing to do with you. Ling Xiao would not randomly blame others. Ling Jiao Jiao really could not do anything about this. Even if he wanted to blame someone, he should blame Ling Tianxiong and Ling Bei. Who did this? His voice was very cold as he stared at Ling Yuhua. It's just a servant. Is there a need for you to be so angry? If it really doesn't work, I'll find you a more capable one. Ling Yuhua did not want to make a big deal out of this. However, he did not know that his words made Ling Xiao even angrier. Find another one? If your clothes are ruined, you can change. If your limbs are broken, can you change them? I'm asking who did it. Don't tell me that you, as the clan leader, can't even find out such a small thing." Ling Xiao looked at Little Fifth and was really angry. They did not even let off a servant. This Ling family was really crazy. Hee, young Master Ling Xiao, don't be angry. When Little Fifth was working in young Master Bei's courtyard, her hands and feet were not clean. She stole something and tried to escape. That's why she was broken by me. A chubby warrior stood out. Ling Xiao recognized him. He was from Ling Tianxiong's family. He was the housekeeper of Ling Bei's courtyard. This person dared to stand out because he was sure that Ling Xiao would definitely not dare to do anything to him in front of so many people. Moreover, his cultivation was not weak. He was at the third Grotto Heaven realm. He was there to protect Ling Bei. He looked at Ling Xiao. Although there was a smile on his face, there was a hint of mockery between his brows. It seemed to mean that he was the one who did it. What could he do about it? What answered him was a ray of sword light. A ray of sword light that was brighter than the stars. When the sword came out, the legs were broken. The chubby housekeeper's legs were cut off. Blood spurted out like a fountain. Ah! After being stunned for a moment, the chubby housekeeper let out a hysterical scream. The entire Ling family's martial arts arena was in a state of trembling. "You broke my Little Fifth's legs. You didn't kill him. I don't want your life either. Your legs will be used to repay your debt." Ling Zhao's cold voice sounded. Then he walked to Little Fifth and helped him take a healing pill. Then he used his own internal energy to help him recover. Although Little Fifth was injured all over and his legs were broken, these were all hard injuries. It was not difficult to treat them. When he was about to heal Little Fifth's injuries, many people finally reacted. The first to rush out was Ling Tianxiong. Chapter 2115. Ling Tianxiong wanted to kill Ling Xiao to avenge the fat butler. However, when he rushed out, he was stopped by Ling Yuhua. "Enough! This old man knows what to do about this matter. Why don't you take the butler to treat his injuries? If it's a little later, I'm afraid his life will be in danger." Ling Yuhua said coldly, "Father, why do you indulge this kid so much?" Ling Tianxiong roared, "I indulge him? What your adopted son Ling Wansui has done. Don't you have any idea in your heart?" Ling Yuhua actually knew everything, but he acquiesced to Ling Tianxiong's nonsense. He did not expect Ling Tianxiong to question him today. It was ridiculous. Ling Tianxiong was stunned for a moment, and immediately a ruthless look flashed in his eyes. He turned back and roared, "Let's go." Taking the fat butler, Ling Tianxiong, Ling Bei, and the others hurriedly left. Ling Yuhua looked at Ling Xiao angrily and said, "Is it okay now? You've avenged him. You won't find another reason, right?" "Of course not." Ling Xiao said lightly, "Ling Jiaojiao is not guilty of killing Ling Wansui. She's qualified to fight with Ling Moyu. Do you think she can win against Moyu?" Ling Yuhua frowned. "Whether she can win or not, we'll know after the fight." Ling Xiao did not know if Ling Jiaojiao could win, but it was always depressing to be deprived of an opportunity for no reason. When he participated in the White Tiger meet, he encountered such a thing. Today, he would not let Ling Jiaojiao suffer the same grievance. "Okay." Ling Yuhua nodded and said, "Grandfather, I also have a request." Ling Moyu suddenly said, "You have a request too?" Ling Yuhua frowned and said, "Say it." "Moyu hopes that Ling Xiao will fight with me like a man. What he said before, he won't go back on his words, right?" Ling Moyu said while looking at Ling Xiao. Today's annual meeting should have belonged to her alone, but unfortunately, it was completely taken away by Ling Xiao. This made her very unhappy. She wanted to regain her face. "Of course, what I said counts, but Ling Moyu, I'm afraid you can't even win against Ling Jiaojiao, whom I pointed out. So what makes you think you can win against me?" Ling Xiao said disdainfully, "Arrogant. Then I'll fight you after I defeat Ling Jiaojiao." Let's see what excuses you have then. Ling Moyu said angrily. Ling Xiao actually said that she was no match for Ling Jiaojiao. She couldn't take it anymore. Ling Jiaojiao was nothing. She had watched her grow up and was always under her feet. How could she win against her? I don't need an excuse. If you win against Ling Jiaojiao, I'll fight you. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Of course, if you lose, you can also fight. I will accompany you at any time. You're Ling Xiao, right? Suddenly, Ling Jian stood up from below the stage and looked coldly at Ling Xiao. As long as you're not deaf, you shouldn't need to ask this question. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Humph, as expected, extremely arrogant. Ling Jian said coldly. You said Ling Jiaojiao can defeat Ling Moyu. Why don't we make a bet? Bet? I like it, but what kind of bet? Ling Xiao asked. It's very simple. If Ling Moyu defeats Ling Jiaojiao, you'll be at Uncle's disposal. Ling Jian obviously wanted Ling Tianxiong to owe him a favor. This kid probably believed that he would be the future patriarch and began to lay out his connections now. Okay, then what if Ling Moyu loses? Ling Xiao asked. You state your conditions. Ling Jian said. And how about this? If Ling Moyu loses to Ling Jiaojiao, then I hope Patriarch can let me walk around the martial arts hall for 2 hours. How about it? Ling Xiao's goal was the seal of immortality. He believed that the martial arts of the most powerful immortality palace in the Black Tortoise continent would definitely not be ordinary. This seal of immortality might become a very powerful cultivation or combat method in the future. It wouldn't be wrong to take it and have a look. That's not something I can decide. Ling Jian frowned and said, Then why are you so arrogant? I only need this one condition. If it's not possible, then forget it. Ling Xiao waved his hand and said, This old man will promise you on his behalf. Ling Yuhua suddenly said, Ling Jian was his most valued successor. Ling Jian's matter was his matter. He didn't want his most valued successor to lose face in front of Ling Xiao. Thank you, grandfather. Ling Jian let out a breath of relief. Grandfather was still the best to him and didn't let him lose face. If so, then let's begin. Jiao, come over here for a moment. Ling Xiao wasn't sure if Ling Jiaojiao could win against Ling Moyu, so he had to do something. What's wrong, brother? Ling Jiaojiao had already treated Ling Xiao as her own brother, so she didn't feel anything wrong when she called out. Ling Xiao gently placed his hand on Ling Jiaojiao's shoulder and silently circulated his soul force. Secret art, frost armor. From the storage ring on his hand, a blue light inadvertently entered Ling Jiaojiao's body from his hand. This blue light, of course, belonged to the sword of secret art. Although he couldn't put the sword of secret art into the storage ring, the sword of secret art could go in by itself. Shen Dian was still a reasonable girl. After listening to his explanation, she chose to enter the storage ring to avoid causing more serious trouble. The blue light on Ling Jiaojiao's body was a secret art that had yet to be released. This secret art contained Ling Xiao's soul force. It would only be released at a critical moment. If Ling Jiaojiao really wasn't Ling Moyu's opponent, this secret art could play a key role. This could also be considered a trump card. If he didn't bet, he wouldn't do this. But since he had a bet with Ling Jian, then don't blame him for being sinister. In fact, he wasn't the only one who had some tricks. Ling Jian also gave Ling Moyu a pill, saying that it was from the 7-star Sword Palace. After taking it, it could double one's combat strength for a short period of time. It would come in handy at a critical moment. Ling Moyu originally didn't intend to take it because she didn't believe that Ling Jiaojiao could bring any threat to her. But after thinking about it, she finally put the pill into the storage ring. Come on, sister. It's really rare for you to be able to reach this step with 1,000 Mountain Storm Sword. It just so happens that I also know this sword technique. I'll let you see that the 1,000 Mountain Storm Sword, used by different people, is completely different. Compared to me, you're still far behind." Ling Moyu looked at Ling Jiao and was very angry. It was as if her toy had been snatched away by others. She was very unhappy. Originally, Ling Jiao was a good girl that she had always controlled. But now, she had become Ling Zhao's person. "Sister, you should use other martial skills. Thousand Mountain Storm Sword is not as good as mine," Ling Jiao said indifferently. "Humph, I didn't expect that you would be infected with his arrogant habits by following him. You're simply overestimating yourself." Ling Moyu snorted coldly and suddenly burst out the terrifying aura of the fourth Grotto Heaven realm. Then, the shadow of a sword appeared behind her. At the same time, there was also a long sword in her hand. Where the long sword pointed, the wind suddenly blew. In the sky, there was actually a faint shadow of dark clouds. It seemed that a torrential rain was coming. Defeat. Chapter 21:16. It had to be said that Ling Moyu's Thousand Mountain Wind and Rain Sword was quite good. With the cultivation of the fourth heavenly insight realm, even if she used a low-level gold grade sword skill, it was still powerful. But a low-level gold grade sword skill was still a low-level gold grade sword skill. Compared to a low-level jade grade sword skill, the power was too far away. Moreover, Ling Moyu's Thousand Mountain Wind and Rain Sword had only been cultivated to the proficient level. But Ling Jiao's Thousand Mountain Wind and Rain Sword had been cultivated to the perfection level, only one step away from the perfection level. The gap between the two was definitely much greater than the gap between the cultivation levels of the same level. Seeing Ling Moyu's long sword coming, Ling Jiao's face was expressionless, and the long sword in her hand also stabbed out at the same time. "Using your own weakness to attack other strength, Sister Moyu, you've already lost your mind." While speaking, the long sword in Ling Jiao's hand had transformed into countless sword shadows, like a storm. Not only did it cover Ling Moyu's vision, but it also covered her own figure. Is this really Thousand Mountain Wind and Rain Sword? Jiao is so young, but she can cultivate a low-level gold-grade sword skill to such a degree of perfection. It's too rare. Ling Jian could not help but exclaim. People who used swords understood the ingenuity of Ling Jiao's sword skill the best. Swords were used to kill, not to fight head-on. Therefore, Ling Jiao's sword would not touch Ling Moyu's sword, because Ling Moyu's cultivation level was higher than hers, so her internal force was more vigorous than hers, and she would be at a disadvantage if they touched. Puff! A touch of dark red appeared on the tip of the sword. Ling Moyu's figure retreated rapidly. However, Ling Jiao's figure was like a ghost, always entangling her. I said earlier in terms of Thousand Mountain Wind and Rain Sword, Sister Moyu, you're really not as good as me. Originally, you could have won this duel, but you overestimated yourself, using your weakness to attack my strength. If you don't lose, even the heavens won't tolerate it. Ling Jiao's voice came from the void, as if it came from all directions, making Ling Moyu unable to determine the exact location. If there was a gap of several realms, then Ling Moyu might have a chance to turn the tables. But in fact, she was only one realm higher than Ling Jiao. One was the third heavenly insight realm, and the other was the fourth heavenly insight realm. Once Ling Jiao gained the upper hand, there would be no way to reverse the situation. I didn't expect Jiao to be such a genius. I'm afraid his Thousand Mountain Storm Sword already has the power of a jade grade sword skill. Even if MOU loses, it's normal. Ling Yuhua narrowed his eyes and suddenly looked at Ling Xiao. It seemed that Ling Xiao had said that Ling Jiao's swordsmanship was taught by him. If this was true, this Ling Xiao was probably a rare genius before he reincarnated. Most likely, he would have broken through to the rebirth realm by the time he was 30. He thought that his guess was already very optimistic about Ling Xiao. Little did he know that Ling Xiao had already broken through to the rebirth realm when he was 18 years old. If he knew the truth, he would definitely not treat Ling Xiao like that. He couldn't wait to curry favor with them. So how could he offend them? Could this be his doing again? The elder on duty was also sitting in the referee's seat. In the past, when Ling Xiao had chosen the falling star sword technique, he had said that Ling Xiao was useless and could not be nurtured. But later, Ling Xiao defeated Ling Wansui with the falling star sword art, which made him quite surprised. Unfortunately, he didn't see that battle with his own eyes, so he didn't know whether it was true or not. Until today, when he saw Ling Jiaojiao use the Thousand Mountain Storm Sword, he suddenly understood everything. Not only was this Ling Xiao not a so-called mud, but he was also a true genius. This level of genius was not something the people of Yuhua Town could compare with. Unfortunately, if he had treated this Ling Xiao better earlier, the future of Yuhua Town's Ling family would be limitless. Now it was really too late. Everything was too late. This child's heart was probably filled with hatred. He sighed helplessly and decided to talk to Ling Xiao after this matter. At this time, the situation on the stage suddenly changed. Ling Moyu, who had been suppressed by Ling Jiaojiao to the point that she couldn't make a move, suddenly increased her strength. She unleashed all of her low-tier jade grade sword skills as she unleashed her terrifying power. It was the Jade Wind Sword art from Linglong Palace. Ling Jiaojiao was finally forced to retreat. A touch of regret appeared on her face. She didn't defeat Ling Moyu before, so she probably wouldn't have a chance later. For some reason, Ling Moyu's battle strength suddenly doubled, which made her Thousand Mountain Storm Sword unable to suppress her. But she didn't want to lose. Ling Xiao and Ling Jian must have a reason for the bet. He helped me so much. I absolutely can't let him lose this bet. No matter what, I have to win. Ling Jiaojiao clenched her teeth, regardless of the sword wounds on her body, and decided to fight to the death. Although she knew that there was another reason for her opponent to suddenly become strong. No matter what the reason was, no one would uphold justice for her. This family was like this. She had seen through it. Only Ling Xiao was sincerely good to her. Even if she died, she would win for Ling Xiao. You dare to hurt me, you bastard who doesn't have a mother to teach you. You dare to hurt me. I'll kill you. Ling Moyu roared like a madman. She had completely lost her usual demeanor. From a high and mighty young lady, she had become a completely crazy woman. This was not only because of anger, but also because of the side effects of the pill Ling Jian gave her. Jade Wind Sword Art. Kill. When she used this sword art, Ling Moyu's body was covered with a faint white jade luster. Even the nearby wind seemed to have turned into jade swords. In the void, hundreds of jade swords were aimed at Ling Jiaojiao, clearly wanting to pierce Ling Jiaojiao into a sieve. Ling Xiao, you see, this is the woman you want to protect. You can't protect her, ha 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 ha. Ling Moyu really went crazy. That crazed look made many of the spectators in the Ling family tremble with fear. Ling Jiaojiao stood there without fear on her face. She knew she would lose, but even if she lost, she would not shrink back. Even if she died, she would drag Ling Moyu down with her. This was a swordsman with an unconventional sword. Thousand Mountain Wind and Rain Sword. Wind and rain return. This was the most terrible move of the Thousand Mountain Wind and Rain Sword, and it was also a move to perish together, sacrificing one's own life, at the same time seriously injuring or even killing the enemy. Ling Jiaojiao couldn't think of any other way. She could only use this move to resist Ling Moyu's attack. Jiaojiao, there is no need for that. Concentrate on resisting with the regular sword art, and look for opportunities to attack. You will win. Just when she was ready to cut off all means of retreat and fight to the death, a voice suddenly sounded in her mind. She could confirm that it was Ling Zhao's voice. It could be directly transmitted into her mind, which made her shocked by how terrible Ling Zhao's soul force was. Chapter 21:17. Although she was incomparably shocked by Ling Zhao's soul force. But at this very moment, Ling Zhaojiao did not have time to sigh with emotion and respect. After hearing Ling Zhao's words out of trust, she gave up on the mutual destruction move. She only used the ordinary move of the 1,000 Mountain Storm Sword, preparing to resist. What a pity! Miss Zhaojiao is also considered a genius. But today's genius will probably be seriously injured even if she doesn't die. Yeah, she injured elder sister Mou and already thoroughly infuriated elder sister Mou. Even if elder sister Mou doesn't kill her, I'm afraid she'll cripple her. Ling Zhaojiao admit defeat. Ling Yuhua's voice sounded, but the stubborn Ling Zhaojiao just shook her head. She only believed Ling Zhao's words. She actually refuses to admit defeat? Is this courting death? Ling Jian was also stunned. He originally thought that Ling Zhaojiao's brain was good, but did not expect that she was a fool. Grandpa, could it be that Ling Xiao playing tricks? I'll go up and bring Zhaojia down. With her, plus Mou, Ling Yan, and me, the four of us are enough to suppress the Qin family. Ling Jian looked at Ling Yuhua and said. Ling Yuhua nodded. Ling Jian tore through the air, attempting to end this battle. Ling Zhaojiao, you've already lost. Get down. At the same time Ling Jian flew up, a sword slashed towards the arena where Ling Zhaojiao was standing. This Yuhua town's arena naturally could not compare to the arena at the White Tiger Storm meet. As long as his sword landed, it would definitely shatter. At that time, Ling Zhaojiao would fall from the arena and she would be saved. But at the critical moment, a sword light flew past like a meteor, deflecting his sword qi by an inch. His sword qi only landed on the ground and did not hit the stage. Ling Xiao, what are you trying to do? Ling Jian said angrily. Shouldn't I be the one asking this? The battle hasn't ended yet. On what basis are you so sure that Ling Zhaojiao will undoubtedly lose? Don't forget, you still have a bet with me. Interfering in this battle without permission can be considered your loss. Ling Xiao said coldly. Idiot, could it be that you think Ling Zhaojiao still has a chance of winning? Ling Jian scolded. You're the idiot who can't see the situation clearly. What a joke. While speaking, Ling Xiao silently circulated his soul force. A layer of frost armor appeared on Ling Zhaojiao's body. In that instant, all the jade swords approaching Ling Zhaojiao actually became incomparably slow. Their speed had dropped by almost 70 to 80%. Ling Zhaojiao was stunned. In just a short moment, he suddenly struck out with his sword and instantly sent all the jade swords flying. Then his figure flashed and arrived in front of Ling Mou. Sister, you've lost this battle. She kicked out her foot. Ling Mou, who had taken a pill to forcibly increase his combat strength, was now in a state of exhaustion after using such a powerful move. In the end, he was easily sent flying by Ling Zhaojiao's kick and fell onto the stage. Due to his anger and the reverse flow of his qi and blood, he spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. The situation of the battle was instantly reversed, and the people who were watching the show were all dumbfounded. Even Ling Yuhua and Ling Jian were stunned. He thought that Ling Zhaojiao would definitely lose or even die, but in the end, Ling Zhaojiao won easily. The one who fainted was Ling Mou. Because this result was really too shocking, the entire martial arts practice field actually fell into a dead silence. Quickly help Mou back to heal. Ling Jian came back to his senses and shouted loudly. Like Ling Yuhua, Ling Jian usually doted on his sister the most, and that was Ling Mou. This was not only because Ling Mou was his sister, but also because Ling Mou was talented and intelligent, and she respected him very much. She also joined Ling Long Palace, and was the pride of the entire Ling family. Watching people carry Ling Mou away, Ling Jian glared at Ling Zhaojiao. I'm going to kill you. They were both sisters, but Ling Zhaojiao was only a cousin, and a cousin that was not valued by the family. Of course he would not care. If you want to kill her, you have to pass through me first. Ling Xiao walked to the stage and stood in front of Ling Jiao. He looked at Ling Jian coldly and said, Ling Mu lost because she thought she was infallible and because the side effects of the pill you gave her were too great. But you inverted black and white and want to seek revenge on Jiao. What's the reason? It won't be too late to kill her after killing you. Ling Jian would not put Ling Xiao in his eyes and raised his hand to attack. Bastard! Injuries in a competition are unavoidable. You want to kill your own family too? Ling Yuhua finally opened his mouth. He did not feel sorry for Ling Jiao, nor did he really want to reprimand Ling Jian. It was just that Ling Xiao was related to the rise of the Ling family, and he absolutely could not let Ling Jian kill Ling Xiao. Grandfather, don't say any more. Go take care of your sister. Jiao's attack was not heavy. She should be fine. Ling Yuhua waved his hand. Ling Jian was helpless. He glared fiercely at Ling Xiao and Ling Jiao and then left. Are you satisfied now? After Ling Jian left, Ling Yuhua looked at Ling Xiao, and his expression was not very good. The rest of the Ling family also looked at Ling Xiao. They did not know what this man did to let Ling Jiao, who had no chance of defeating Ling Moyu, win. Was this still the unknown child who had always been bullied by others? Ling Tai actually had such an outstanding son? They were too shocked. When they recalled the words that they said to Ling Xiao and the things that they did, they actually had some indescribable fear in the depths of their hearts. However, Ling Xiao ignored them and looked at Ling Yuhua. Satisfied, of course, I am satisfied. But this is the result that Jiao won for me with her own ability, and it was not bestowed by you. Now, can Jiao and I head to the martial arts hall? Ling Xiao asked proudly. He didn't need to be grateful to Ling Yuhua. Everything was won by his own ability. It was not given to him by someone else. From today onwards, he believed that no one in the Ling family would dare to look down on him, Ling Xiao. He wanted to take control of this weak clan step by step and make these people his slaves. This should be more valuable and more satisfying than killing them. Ling Yuhua looked at Ling Xiao, and his gloomy face became even more unsightly. To be honest, he really wanted to kill Ling Xiao, but reason told him that Ling Xiao was very important to him and the Ling family. He must not kill him. It would be a pity to kill him. However, at this moment, a dazzling sword light pierced through the void. Accompanying this sword light was an angry roar. Those who dare to kill my mystic snake demon sex disciple die. The snake sword light was like a black snake that shot towards Ling Jiao. This scene was too shocking. No one expected that someone from the mystic snake demon sect would stay in the Ling family and attack Ling Jiao because Ling Wansui was killed. Even Ling Xiao was surprised. This person from the mystic snake demon sect was much stronger than Ling Wansui. Although he had not reached the Yin-Yang realm, he was already a 10th Grotto Heaven realm expert. He should be an outer sect trainer of the mystic snake demon sect. The most likely person was Ling Wansui's master. Chapter 2118. The mystic snake demon sect's expert suddenly launched a sneak attack on Ling Jiao. At this moment, Ling Jiao could be said to be in extreme danger. Even if Ling Yuhua wanted to stop it, it was already too late. He was relatively far away from Ling Jiao, and that person was obviously waiting to launch a sneak attack. His movements were too fast. If there was anyone who could save Ling Jiao, it would be Ling Xiao alone. But how could Ling Xiao be this person's opponent? Many people thought that Ling Jiao was taught by Ling Xiao. If Ling Jiao could defeat Ling Moyu, then Ling Xiao's strength shouldn't be too weak. Even so, it was a bit too naive to let Ling Xiao face a 10th Grotto Heaven realm powerhouse. This attack would either kill Ling Jiao, or Ling Xiao and Ling Jiao would die together. It could only be one of these two results. They really didn't believe that Ling Xiao would die for such a woman who wasn't related to him by blood. Humph, Ling Xiao talks so nicely, but when it comes to a crisis, I'm afraid he'll just stand by and watch. Yes, this is a typical hypocrite. There was a burst of discussion from the crowd, and that black sword light had already arrived. Ling Jiaojiao was obviously a little frightened at this time. She wasn't afraid of death, but of being ruthlessly abandoned again, and of the crowd's discussion becoming reality. But she also didn't want Ling Xiao to save her, because she was afraid that Ling Xiao would really be stupid to save her. What if he was beaten to death? Just when she was in a dilemma, a warm hand gently grabbed her and whispered 2 words in her ear. "Don't worry." Then she saw a sword light as bright as a star flickering and exploding in front of her. Boom! The starlight hit the black snake, and Ling Xiao was directly sent flying dozens of meters away. He slammed heavily on the wall, causing the thick wall to collapse. But that terrifying black snake sword light was also completely destroyed. Ling Jiaojiao was excited and pained. What made him excited was that Ling Xiao was actually willing to block this terrifying attack for him. What was painful was that Ling Xiao had been sent flying. Most likely, he was not as ferocious as before. She screamed and rushed to where Ling Xiao had fallen, hoping to check on Ling Xiao's condition. However, a cold wind blew from behind. When the Black Snake Demon Sect martial practitioner realized that he had failed to kill Ling Jiaojiao with one strike, he actually attacked again. It seemed that he would not give up until he killed Ling Jiaojiao today. "That's enough, mysterious snake envoy. You've already killed one of our Ling clan's men. Do you still want to kill more?" Ling Yuhua finally stood in front of that person with an ugly expression. He was very afraid of the Black Snake Demon Sect, but he couldn't just stand by and watch the Black Snake Demon Sect kill the Ling family's people. "Get lost, Ling Yuhua. If she doesn't die, your entire Ling clan will be buried with her." The Black Snake Demon Sect martial practitioner roared. "Ling Wansui may only be an outer sect disciple, but since he joined our Black Snake Demon Sect, he's one of us. Whoever kills him must die." Originally, when Ling Wansui was killed by Ling Jiaojiao, he had already planned to make a move. However, the series of events that happened later made him feel that it was very interesting, so he continued to watch. He hoped that Ling Mayu could kill Ling Jiaojiao so that he wouldn't have to make a move. After all, offending Ling Yuhua, Yin-Yang Realm martial practitioner, wasn't a wise move. However, he didn't expect that Ling Jiaojiao would actually defeat Ling Mayu and become the champion. How could he let go of his face? He had no choice but to make a move. "Mysterious snake envoy, you've gone too far," Ling Yuhua said with a gloomy expression. "Ling Yuhua, I know that you're very strong. However, in the eyes of the Black Snake Demon Sect, you're just an insignificant ant. Don't forget that your entire state of Qin isn't worth mentioning in the eyes of the Black Snake Demon Sect, let alone you." The Black Snake Demon Sect martial practitioner sneered. "I advise you to be smart. Abandon this woman, and you can save your entire Ling family. My Black Snake Demon Sect might even choose talents from your Ling family." Ling Yuhua clenched his fists tightly, but after a moment he completely relaxed them. He actually chose to avoid it. "Jiao Jiao, I already told you not to kill Ling Wansui, but you didn't listen. Now that you've caused a disaster, although Grandpa isn't willing, I can only abandon you." Ling Yuhua sighed. Ling Jiaojiao didn't expect him to save her at all, but she still had a little bit of hope. Unfortunately, Ling Yuhua's words caused this girl to completely lose her final attachment to this family. She suddenly turned to look at the Black Snake Demon Sect martial practitioner and said, "Come, kill me. Anyway, Ling Xiao is dead. There's no point in me living anymore. Come." No one noticed that Ling Xiao, who was lying there, had a sinister sneer on his face. The Black Snake Demon Sect martial practitioner's attack was indeed very strong, but it was only enough to kill Ling Jiaojiao. For him, who had the mystic world body, it didn't cause much damage. He had been looking for an opportunity to drag the Ling family down with him. Today, he finally found it. As long as he killed this black snake demon sect martial practitioner, the entire Ling family would have to stand on the same boat as him. Otherwise, everyone would die. He didn't stand up. Instead, he released his Gemini martial souls and quietly moved behind the black snake demon sect martial practitioner. The difference in cultivation between the two was indeed very large. However, in a sneak attack, as long as he could break the opponent's defense, he could kill the opponent. This had nothing to do with strength. Ha ha ha, Ling Yuhua, you're indeed sensible. I'll report this to the sect master. In the future, your Ling family will benefit from this. The black snake demon sect martial practitioner was very satisfied with Ling Yuhua's attitude. To be honest, the only person he feared in the entire Ling family was this old man. Now that he had dealt with this old man, he no longer had any qualms about killing Ling Jiao. As for the brat he had blasted away, he was probably already dead. He didn't care at all. Little girl, if you agree to join my black snake demon sect, I can spare your life. Without any sense of urgency, the black snake demon sect martial practitioner began to have other thoughts. Since Ling Wansui was already dead, and the dead couldn't be resurrected, then in order to better report to the black snake demon sect, recruiting an outer sect disciple with better aptitude than Ling Wansui was definitely a meritorious service. He's dead, and my heart is dead with him. Either you kill him, or I'll kill you. Ling Jiao looked at the black snake demon sect martial practitioner and walked over step by step with her long sword in hand. She knew that she wasn't a match for him, but in order to avenge Ling Xiao, she wasn't afraid. Ling Xiao could die to protect her. Why couldn't she die to avenge Ling Xiao? It seems like you still don't know how powerful our black snake demon sect is. The black snake demon sect martial practitioner looked coldly at Ling Jiao. Since you're so stubborn, then die. Chapter 2119. The mystic snake demon sect cultivator looked at Ling Jiao with disdain, as if he could already see her head being crushed. However, a cold and sinister feeling suddenly pierced his throat. What? The mystic snake demon sect cultivator never expected that someone from the Ling family would dare to ambush him. This sword was silent, like a ghost, piercing into his throat. One sword. The mystic snake demon sect's 10th Grotto Heaven realm cultivator was dead. Although this killing was a little sinister and not honorable enough, Ling Chan was still confident in his strength. However, with Ling Zhao's current strength, it was basically impossible for him to kill such an expert in broad daylight, even if he used the night demon flower. Moreover, if this mystic snake demon sect cultivator could ambush Ling Jiao, why couldn't he ambush this guy? Sheathing his sword, Ling Xiao was not as agitated as expected. It was probably because he had killed too many cultivators of this level in the past. However, this scene left everyone in the Ling family dumbfounded, especially Ling Yuhua. He had long lost his usual composure. His eyes were filled with panic. A mystic snake demon sect cultivator being killed was a big deal. It was disgraceful. This was even more frightening than the death of the Chen Kingdom's prince. Ling Xiao, you're crazy. Ling Yuhua roared. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Your own granddaughter was attacked, but you're not willing to help. You're really heartless. Ling Xiao looked coldly at Ling Yuhua. All right, you don't have to be so flustered. It's just an outer sect trainer. I believe the mystic snake demon sect won't care too much about it. You make it sound so easy. Do you believe that I won't hand you over to the mystic snake demon sect? As Ling Yuhua spoke, his aura surged. The strength of a yin-yang realm cultivator was truly powerful. He wanted to scare Ling Xiao, but it was useless. Ling Xiao was a cultivator who had reincarnated. What had he not seen? How could he care about the pressure of a yin-yang realm cultivator? Hand me over? You have to think this through. You know very well how the mystic snake devil sect does things. If one of their people dies here, it won't be resolved just by handing over the murderer. The biggest possibility is that the Ling family will be exterminated. Ling Zhao's voice was very calm, but it crashed into everyone's hearts like thunder. This was because what he said was true. The mystic snake devil sect had always done things this way. There are definitely more than one or two examples like this. After a long time, Ling Yuhua took a deep breath and said, "Nobody is allowed to reveal half a word about what happened here today. Whoever dares to speak will be killed without mercy." Yes, everyone agreed. This was a matter that concerned the safety of the Ling family, so no one dared to act recklessly. Very well, you can all disperse. Go do what you need to do. Ling Xiao, come with me. Ling Yuhua no longer dared to underestimate Ling Xiao. Although it was a sneak attack, to be able to launch a sneak attack under such circumstances and kill a 10th Heavenly Passage realm martial artist, this brat was too terrifying. If he wanted to kill Ling Yuhua, it was not impossible. Jiao Jiao, please take care of little fifth. I'll be back soon, Ling Xiao said to Ling Jiao Jiao. Don't worry, little brother. I know. This time, even if I lose my life, I won't let anything happen to little fifth. After what happened just now, Ling Jiao Jiao finally decided to follow Ling Xiao wholeheartedly. Actually, the reason was very simple. In such a dangerous situation, even her yin-yang realm grandfather abandoned her. However, Ling Xiao stood up for her. Although the sneak attack was successful, if it had failed, it would definitely have been death. There was no possibility of survival at all. Ling Xiao risked his life to save her. How could she not repay him with her life? I believe you. Ling Xiao smiled and followed Ling Yuhua to his residence. No one noticed that in the Ling clan's courtyard there was a sneaky guy who sneaked out. The Emergence Black Suppressing Snake Envoy has been killed. From now on, the Emergence Town has no owner. If I inform the Chun clan of this news, the reward this time will definitely be greater. He chuckled and quickly disappeared from the long street. On the other side, at Ling Yuhua's residence, Ling Xiao took out all the elixirs that he promised Ling Yuhua. After Ling Yuhua let Lao He do a check, he couldn't help but sigh. It seems like you are much more powerful than we imagined. I'm afraid my Ling clan's small place can no longer accommodate you. Clan head, are you chasing me away? Ling Xiao smiled and asked. As soon as he finished his sentence, a sword was already placed horizontally on Ling Xiao's neck. The one who made the move was actually the elder on duty of the martial arts hall. How can I chase you away? For a person like you, only by killing you can I be at ease. Ling Yuhua said indifferently. Then you can go ahead and try. Ling Xiao was still drinking his tea calmly, as though he didn't care about the sword of the elder on duty at all. Ling Yuhua was also confused. This young man in front of him was much harder to deal with than he imagined. He could be said to be extremely cunning and surprising. Elder on duty, keep your sword first. Ling Yuhua was very clear that if this sword slashed down and killed Ling Xiao, it would be fine as it would end everything. If he couldn't kill him, then it would really become a death feud, and there would be no possibility of resolving it. Clan head is very wise. Ling Xiao put down his teacup and went straight to the point. We are both not people who like to beat around the bush. I will be direct. From today onwards, I can temporarily cooperate with your Ling clan. You better control your descendants carefully and don't let them provoke me. Otherwise, don't blame me if they are killed by me. In addition, can you tell me now who killed my father, Ling Tai? Since he had already put it this way, he didn't have time to investigate the cause of his father's death. After all, just cultivating was already very urgent. If Ling Yuhua knew, he could just ask directly. The one who killed him is Qin Long. Ling Yuhua sighed and said, the second son of the Qin clan? Ling Xiao frowned. Using his Tai Chi eye, he saw that Ling Yuhua wasn't lying. That's right. The Chen clan might be in Yuhua town, but you must not underestimate them. The Chen clan's clan head, Qin Songhai, is the legitimate crown prince of the Qin kingdom. He was conferred the title of Yuhua king. Ling Yuhua explained, I know this. I just want to ask why Qianlong killed my father. Ling Xiao asked again. To be honest, we don't know the reason. Back when Qianlong and your father met in the restaurant, Qianlong beat your father to death because of a disagreement. We also don't know the exact reason. When we asked the people around, they all said it was a quarrel. Ling Yuhua said helplessly, Haha, you are the Ling clan's clan head. Even if Ling Tai didn't have any status, he was still your adopted son. He was killed and you didn't care? Ling Xiao looked coldly at Ling Yuhua and questioned. Chapter 2120. He is the crown prince, and we can't afford to offend him. What's more, the Mystic Snake Devil sect came out to protect the Qin clan. What do you want me to do? You are alone and don't care about the survival of the Ling clan, but I have to be responsible for the entire Ling clan. The words that came out of Ling Yuhua's mouth were even plausible. No need to explain. In the end, you are just a coward and heartless. I don't want to discuss this. Since we know that Qianlong killed my father, then this matter is simple. Ling Xiao let out a cold smile. Qianlong must die. But when he caught that guy, he had to find out why Qianlong killed his father. He always felt that there was something wrong. The main conflict was temporarily shifted. Ling Xiao was prepared to use the Ling clan to deal with the Qin clan. While completing his revenge goal, he could also increase his own cultivation level faster. After all, resources were the most important thing for a martial artist. All right, clan head, I am going to the martial arts hall. If there is anything, you can ask someone to look for me in the small courtyard. Ling Xiao stood up and suddenly said with a cold expression, I hope this is the last time something like this happens to Little Fifth. If I see Little Fifth being abused again, I will definitely return it tenfold. I will return it 100-fold. Just as he was about to step out of the room, someone suddenly came to report that the Chen clan's eldest son, Qinran, and second son, Qianlong, had arrived. Ling Xiao paused for a moment and let out a cold smile. He really didn't see how Qianlong, the murderer of his father, looked like. Although he didn't know why they were here, he could at least see for himself. Ling Yuhua didn't seem to have any intention of letting Ling Xiao leave. Now that everyone was in the same boat and were just making use of each other, it was only right for them to share information. My two nephews, may I know why you are here at this time? Ling Yuhua asked with a smile after inviting Qianran and Qianlong to take a seat. Qianran smiled and said, Since Grandfather Ling has asked, we won't hide it from you. I heard that someone from the Ling clan killed the Mystic Snake Devil sect's Mystic Snake envoy in Yuhua town. Is this true? When he spoke, he looked at Ling Xiao and obviously knew who killed the Mystic Snake envoy. At that moment, Ling Yuhua and Ling Xiao both thought that someone had leaked the secret, and their expressions turned ugly. Grandfather Ling, I'm sure you know what kind of person the Black Snake envoy is. Even if the Black Snake sect doesn't pursue the matter, the state of Qin will. Qianran continued, I heard that the murder's methods are extremely cruel. Killing people and destroying their bodies is a capital offense. Such a thing actually happened. Ling Yuhua's acting skills were not bad. He looked at Qianran in astonishment and said, The mysterious snake envoy is highly skilled in martial arts and has a profound cultivation base. Who could kill him and destroy his corpse? Old man, stop pretending. The person who killed the Black Snake envoy is from your Ling family, Qianlong suddenly shouted. And this person is in this room. Kid, do you dare to admit it? Suddenly, he glared at Ling Xiao and said, Are you trying to consign Yuhua town to eternal damnation? Ling Xiao smiled indifferently and said, "Outsiders know that the Qin family and the Ling family don't get along. I thought it was just gossip. I didn't expect the Chen family to go to such an extent, slandering others and spouting nonsense. Do you really think the Ling family is easy to bully?" The reason why he was so calm was simple. The other party had no evidence. There was only one witness, and that was no different from having no evidence. "Bastard, how dare you deny it? Someone saw you kill the mystic snake envoy with their own eyes. Could it be fake?" Chen Long's temper was extremely irritable. Everything he said was in a rage, especially when Ling Xiao refused to admit to something he thought was obvious. This made him even more furious. "All right, tell whoever saw it to come face to face with me. Don't let the Chen family and the Ling family become like fire and water because of some random person's lies. Don't forget that our two families have an engagement." Ling Xiao was still very calm. He determined that that person did not dare to come face to face. As long as that person dared to show up, he was dead for sure. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if that person dared to show up, he also had 10,000 ways to make that person change his words. Hence, witnesses were the most useless in the mystic world. Ling Yuhua was originally still worried that Ling Xiao would say the wrong thing because of nervousness. But he did not expect that Ling Xiao, this guy, just said a few words and put Qinran and Qinlong in a dilemma. Originally, these two people were here to denounce. In the end, they became the chief culprits who ruined the two families' relationship. Putting on this label, Qinran and Qinlong were also somewhat terrified. After all, even if the two families had a competitive relationship, at the very least, it was still very harmonious on the surface. If these two people messed around, then it was extremely likely to cause the two families to meet on the battlefield in the end. That would really be a huge sin. Thinking up to here, Ling Yuhua also released his powerful aura very imposingly and said icily, "Honorable nephews, whatever it is, you have to investigate clearly before making a decision. Don't ruin our two families' many years of friendship because of a few words from a lowly person. Old Hey, you can send the guests out." On this matter, Ling Yuhua definitely had to protect Ling Xiao. What kind of joke was this? Once this matter was bitten, then the entire Ling family would suffer, not just Ling Xiao alone. He was powerful enough, so Qinran and Qinlong did not dare to be impudent. "Ha ha ha! Old Masterling is right, you are right. It was our oversight." Qinran laughed loudly, feeling a little vexed in his heart. When he came, he actually did not consider this matter carefully. He thought that he had something on the Ling family and was a little too impulsive. This was definitely a miscalculation, but it was fine. After returning, he just had to send a letter to the 8 Immortals County and get the higher-ups to send someone to investigate. As long as that witness was alive, there was hope to topple the Ling family. The Chun family head was the Chun country's ascendant king. Although he was just a small king, he was still a relative of the imperial family. Now that the mysterious snake envoy was dead, this place had become ownerless. Then their Chun family could make use of this opportunity to hold Ascendant Town in their hands. But before that, they had to topple the Ling family first. Sooner or later, only their Qin family would be left in Ascendant Town. There would no longer be any Ling family. Farewell, old Master Ling. Chun Rant's eyes flickered with a sinister color, but his face was full of smiles. Hold on. Ling Xiao suddenly stood up and looked at Qinlong, surnamed Qin. Did you kill my father, Ling Tai? His sudden question stunned everyone. It was really his style to be so direct and straightforward. That's right, I killed him. So what? That bastard Ling Tai went crazy after drinking and tried to assassinate me. I killed him on the spot. It's that simple. Qianlong looked at Ling Xiao and said indifferently, I have already explained this matter to the patriarchs of the two families. The mysterious snake envoy was also present at the time. He also testified, I even paid over 10,000 low-grade spiritual stones for that drunkard. Chapter 21:21. I heard that Senior has a son called Chin Pai who also likes to drink, right? Go back and remind him not to participate in the annual Ascension sacrifice. Otherwise, if he gets drunk and falls to his death or is eaten by wild beasts, it will not be worth it. Ling Zhao's voice was filled with killing intent and provocation. The Ascension sacrifice was a big day for the entire Ascension town. It was held once a year, and all the participants were experts of the younger generation. They would enter the Ascension mountain range to live alone for a period of time. During this period, they would hunt demonic beasts. It was a competition. Whoever hunted more demonic beast cores would win. The Ascension sacrifice had always been a place where the Chen and Ling families competed in secret. Ling Zhao's intention was very clear. He wanted to kill Chenlong's son during the Ascension sacrifice. Since you killed my father, I'll kill your son. You'd better worry about yourself. Chen Pai's cultivation is 2 realms higher than Qin Kuan's, and the day of the Ascension sacrifice is approaching. Do you really think you can overturn the heavens during this period of time? Chunlong sneered. Since you said so, I'll tell my son Chin Pai. When he sees you, he will definitely not show mercy. This guy was even more direct. Haha, then just wait. Ling Xiao smiled. He was still not Chenlong's opponent now. However, it was different for Chenlong's son. It was natural for the son to repay the father's debt. Moreover, Chen Pai was not a good person. He had found many people to deal with him in the past. However, he had resolved all of them. Qin ran and Chenlong left. It seemed like a crisis had been resolved, but Ling Yuhua's brows were still tightly knitted. Patriarch, you don't have to worry. I've already dealt with that person. He's a spy and should accept his fate of death. Ling Xiao would never sympathize with spies. He was the heavenly emperor of the heavenly empire. He knew very well how much harm a spy could cause to a country. Therefore, he would never be soft-hearted when dealing with spies. In fact, when Chen Ran and Chenlong were arguing with Ling Yuhua in his courtyard, his Gemini martial spirits had already quietly left. Since the spy had left, he would definitely leave behind some traces. Even though he had hidden himself well, he was still able to find out and kill him. Sure enough, as soon as he finished speaking, someone came in to report. Patriarch, just now, our disciple Linga San was killed by someone. His corpse is hanging outside the main gate. Good. What a disgraceful traitor. Listen to my orders. Hang the corpse for 10 days and 10 nights. Put up a notice and tell everyone in Yuhua town that Ling San is a spy of the Chun clan. Ling Yu shouted angrily at a row of tables. Yes. At the same time, the Qin family also received the news. Chenlong was furious. Big brother, I told you we should have let Ling San stay in our Qin family and directly sent him to the county to avoid being discovered. Now he's been killed and the only witness is gone. How could it be so fast? Qin Ran was also stunned. That's not right. Our Chun family and the Ling family have been fighting for so many years. That old man Ling Yuhua doesn't have such capabilities. There must be an expert guiding the Ling family behind the scenes. We have to be careful during the Ascension ceremony this time. After all, this year's Ascension ceremony will be different from previous years. It involves something even more important. The Ascension ceremony has a special meaning. In Ling Zhao's courtyard, Ling Xiao asked the same question. This was because Ling Yuhua was also talking about the same topic. Yes. All this time, the 8 Immortals County has sent many managers over because of Yuhua Town's remote location. In the end, they were all unfortunately killed on the way or died for no reason. Therefore, the 8 Immortals County has been planning a method to let the people of Yuhua Town manage their own town. This time, the mysterious snake envoy of the mysterious snake demon sect was killed, so this plan will definitely be pushed forward. Ling Yuhua was a very practical person. After cooperating with Ling Xiao, there was basically nothing to hide from Ling Xiao. He continued, "This year's Ascension ceremony seems to be an annual ceremony for Yuhua Town. but in reality, it's a secret competition between the Qin family and the Ling family for the management rights of Yuhua Town. Whoever wins in the end will obtain the management rights of Yuhua Town for 10 years. After 10 years, the management rights will be reshuffled. However, don't underestimate these 10 years. With these 10 years, whether it's the Ling family or the Chen family, they will have enough time to destroy the other family. So that's how it is. Speaking of which, this has little to do with me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. But don't worry, I will let your Ling family obtain the management rights. Compared to you, I hate the Qin family who killed my father more. What he didn't say was that in this ascension ceremony, he was going to take the opportunity to deal with Ling Moyu together. Ling Moyu tried to kill him, and his killing intent was already aroused. He clearly didn't want to completely fall out with Ling Yuhua because of Ling Moyu, but it was different in the ascension ceremony. Under such a chaotic situation, even if Ling Moyu was killed by the Qin family, it seemed to be a logical thing to do. Are you really not afraid at all? There's only a month left before the ascension ceremony, and Qin Kuin and Qin Pai are both stronger than you. Qin Kuin is said to have broken through to the 5th Grotto Heaven Realm, and Qin Pai is at the 7th Grotto Heaven Realm. They are not opponents you can easily defeat. If things go wrong, you might even lose your life. Ling Yuhua reminded. You don't have to pretend to care about me. With so many elixirs, the cultivation of your Ling family's disciples will definitely improve by leaps and bounds in this month. Especially Ling Jiao Jiao, Ling Mayu, Ling Jian, and Ling Yan. If you include me, the Ling family will definitely win. What you have to do is to prevent the Chun family from playing tricks behind your back. Ling Xiao said faintly. Ling Yuhua's old face turned red and said awkwardly, "This is not a problem." At that time, the 8 Immortals County's county governor will personally go to Ascension Town to supervise the Ascension ceremony. The adult martial artists from both sides will be gathered together to participate in the banquet, and there will be no chance to interfere with the Ascension ceremony. That's good. Ling Xiao nodded. Immediately, he stood up and followed the elder on duty to the martial arts hall. Sure enough, according to the method his father Ling Tai told him, he found the immortality seal. This immortality seal turned out to be a living inscription hidden in a very ordinary martial arts manual. When he got close, the blood in his body resonated. That immortality seal instantly entered his mind. Although the elder on duty had been secretly observing the scene, he did not notice it at all. The moment the immortality seal entered his spirit sea, Ling Xiao knew very well that this thing was not simple. Perhaps, other than the quintessence imparted to him by the human king, he could cultivate another martial art. Not only could it help him overcome the current difficulties, but it could also help him become stronger. Chapter 21-22. When Ling Xiao returned to his courtyard, it was obvious that someone had cleaned it up. Without asking, he knew that it was done by Ling Yuhua. Since the two of them had started working together, Ling Yuhua would not provoke Ling Xiao. They were not kids anymore and did not know how to play emotional games. The only basis for working together was benefits. Ling Yuhua needed Ling Xiao's elixirs, and Ling Xiao needed Ling Yuhua's temporary protection. It was that simple. 1 month's time is enough for me to advance to the middle level of Grotto Heaven Realm. By then, Qin Kuin and Qin Pai will be easy to deal with. The most important thing now is to figure out the seal of eternal life. What kind of secret is this set of Eternal Life Palace's secret martial arts? It actually allowed my father, the young palace master of Eternal Life Palace, to escape to such a remote place and still be hunted down. Even I was assassinated before. Ling Xiao sat in the secret room in the courtyard. An inscription of the seal of eternal life appeared in his mind. He wanted to decipher it. As for Ling Jiao Jiao, after the martial arts practice field incident, she moved to Ling Zhao's courtyard to stay. On one hand, she needed Ling Zhao's guidance. On the other hand, she needed to take care of Ling Zhao's food and lodging. For a lady to do such menial work, she would be laughed at by others. But in the Ling family, no one dared to laugh at her. There were even many people who were envious of her. For example, this time, Ling Xiao returned and gave Ling Jiao Jiao and Little Fifth better elixirs. It was several times better than those given to Ling Yuhua. Naturally, it was several times more beneficial for cultivation. At this moment, in the secret room, Ling Xiao was still studying the seal of eternal life. This seal of eternal life was indeed the ultimate technique of the eternal life palace. According to his father, Ling Tai, even among the palace masters of the eternal life palace, there was only one person who could cultivate the seal of eternal life to the 3rd level. However, the number of levels of the seal of eternal life was still a secret. For this martial art, every time one cultivated a level, the seal of the next level would be unlocked. Only then would one know what the next level was. Perhaps to others, unlocking the 1st level was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Back then, in order to cultivate the 1st level of the seal of eternal life, Ling Tai spent a total of 10 years to cultivate it, and this was already considered extremely fast. However, to Ling Xiao, it only took him less than an hour to activate the 1st level of the seal of eternal life. His proficiency in formations and restrictions, coupled with the powerful analytical ability of the Tai Chi Eye, made any complicated and changeable martial arts extremely simple in his hands. The 1st level of the seal of eternal life was the Dharma image seal. This was a method to increase one's cultivation, and it was also a terrifying move. The so-called Dharma idol was the Dharma idol of heaven and earth, a divine object that was visualized. In fact, Ling Xiao had cultivated before. He had visualized the 3 Prince Neza in the God investiture, but at that time he had only visualized it by chance because he was cultivating the essence, soul, remnant scroll. He didn't have much combat strength. However, after cultivating the seal of eternal life today and mastering the 1st level of the Dharma, he should be able to visualize those monsters in the God investiture catalog and have combat strength. When he first obtained the God investiture catalog, he had specially asked the Moon Maiden and the others where it came from. However, the conclusion he obtained was that the Moon Maiden had only picked up the God investiture catalog by chance. She felt that it was novel and placed it in the Yuehua school. But he didn't expect Ling Xiao to obtain it and remember it. In the past, the God investiture catalog had helped Ling Xiao, but it wasn't too much. However, now that he had the Dharma seal, the God investiture catalog was powerful. Perhaps it would become one of the strongest and most terrifying moves after Ling Xiao entered the reincarnation cycle. In order to verify his thoughts, in the secret chamber, Ling Xiao used the twin martial spirits as his opponents and used the Dharma seal. He was still visualizing the 3rd Prince Neza. When the Dharma seal was used, it actually revealed the true form of the 3rd Prince Neza. He had 3 heads and 6 arms and attacked the twin martial spirits. His combat strength was extremely terrifying. However, according to Ling Xiao's judgment, the power of the Dharma seal was also based on Ling Xiao's cultivation. The stronger his cultivation, the greater the power. If his cultivation wasn't enough, he wouldn't be able to fully unleash the power of the Dharma seal. Naturally, the Dharma idol that he visualized wouldn't be able to fully unleash his combat strength. After unsealing the Dharma seal, Ling Xiao stayed in the secret chamber for a full day and night to cultivate the Dharma seal from the beginner level to the small success level. Unfortunately, in the secret chamber, he was only sparring with the twin martial spirits. He couldn't truly cultivate the Dharma seal to the extreme. The improvement of martial arts had always been based on actual combat. Ling Xiao planned to make another trip to the Yuhua mountain range. Perhaps he would encounter a few powerful demonic beasts and be able to cultivate the Dharma seal to a stronger level. Outside, Ling Jiao Jiao and Little Fifth were cultivating. Ling Xiao didn't disturb them. Instead, he walked towards Yuhua town alone. Although he knew that it was dangerous outside, wasn't the danger a form of training for him? If Ling Xiao had only hidden in the secret chamber to cultivate in the past, he wouldn't have become so powerful. Now that he had entered the reincarnation cycle, the logic was the same. Moreover, whoever wanted to kill him now had to consider whether they were capable of doing so. Just as he stepped onto the long street of Yuhua town, he didn't have time to head towards the Yuhua mountain range. Ling Xiao suddenly felt an extremely familiar aura coming from afar. This aura was extremely similar to the Moon Lady. Ling Xiao definitely didn't forget what he promised the Moon Lady before he entered the reincarnation cycle. No matter what, he had to find the Moon Lady and protect her. Otherwise, if the Moon Lady died due to an accident, the 10 reincarnation cycle would no longer exist. The Moon Lady would never be able to regain her human form. This was an extremely dangerous matter. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao hurriedly used the meteor step and chased in the direction of the aura. About a few minutes later, he arrived at a very lively street. In the middle of the street, a young girl about 17 or 18 years old was hugging a rabbit and ravaging it. Ling Xiao recognized this young girl. She was the daughter of the Chen family's eldest son, Chen Xingji. And standing beside Chen Xingji was a young man about the same age as Chen Xingji. He was the third son of the Chen family's eldest son, Qin Kuin's younger brother. Qin Du Chen Xingji and Qin Du's cultivation weren't weak. Both of them had reached the 4th Grotto Heaven realm, the same as Ling Moyu. If it were any other time, Ling Xiao wouldn't want to provoke these two people. In any case, he didn't have any enmity with them. But at this time his eyes were firmly fixed on the rabbit in Chen Xingji's arms. The rabbit's fur was bright and clean, as beautiful as white jade. In the rabbit's eyes, there was a strong grievance and strong dissatisfaction, as if it wanted to break free from Chen Xingji's arms. It's not the Moon Lady? But why does it have the aura of the Moon Lady? Right, it must have stayed with the Moon Lady. Chapter 21-23. Ling Xiao noticed that the rabbit Chen Xingji was carrying had the aura of the Moon Lady. He suspected that the rabbit had been with the Moon Lady. Perhaps he could find some clues from this rabbit. He had to get this rabbit. Ling Xiao walked forward. Before he could say anything, Chen Xingji recognized him first. I was wondering who it was. So it's the unloved bastard from the Ling family. Why? If you can't stay in the Ling family, why don't you come to our Qin family? We still have a mouthful of dog food. Ha ha ha. Chen Xingji said as she purposely covered her mouth and laughed. It was as if insulting the Ling family was an honorable thing to do. If it were any other day, Ling Xiao would have retorted. However, his mind was on the rabbit today. He ignored Chen Xingji's words and asked, "How much are you selling this rabbit for?" "Oh, you want to buy my rabbit?" "Sure, I'll sell it to you as long as you can take out 10 Grotto Heaven spiritual elixirs," Chen Xingji said with a smile. The lady from the Qin family really knows how to tease people. 10 Grotto Heaven spiritual elixirs? Let alone Ling Xiao, even the entire Ling family can't take out 10 Grotto Heaven spiritual elixirs. That's right, that's right. This is clearly a trick. However, after a few seconds, the people who were talking were all dumbfounded. Ling Xiao nodded and said, "Deal. Here are 10 Grotto Heaven spiritual elixirs. Give me the rabbit." He actually took out 10 Grotto Heaven spiritual elixirs. This scene made the long street fall into a dead silence. One had to know that this kind of elixir could only be refined by alchemists in the provincial cities. Even the martial artists in the 8 Immortals County had to buy it from the provincial cities. Needless to say, Yuhua Town was even more so. The Grotto Heaven spiritual elixir was extremely expensive in the 8 Immortals County. One elixir could be sold for tens of thousands of mid-grade spirit stones. In Yuhua Town, even if one took out tens of thousands of mid-grade spirit stones, one might not be able to buy it. However, Ling Xiao took out 10 elixirs at once. This was simply earth-shattering. Originally, if Chen Xingji had taken away these medicinal pills, not only would she have taken a huge advantage, she would also absolutely not have any trouble. Although Ling Xiao was at a disadvantage, he got what he wanted. Naturally, he didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it, but greed blinded the eyes. Seeing Ling Xiao take out 10 paradise spirit pills, Chen Xingji thought to herself, this guy is actually willing to use so many precious pills to buy this rabbit without any hesitation. In that case, there must be something special about this rabbit. He might as well add a bit more money. When she thought of this, she said, I was wrong. I said 20. Are you sure? Ling Xiao asked coldly. Of course. Chen Xingji nodded. Very well. Since that's the case, let's make a written agreement so that you won't regret it later. After all, your Chen family has always been untrustworthy. Ling Xiao was not afraid of giving more paradise spirit pills. As long as he could buy the rabbit, he was willing to pay any price. After all, it was the only clue to finding the Moon Lady. Chen Xingji happily made a written agreement. Both parties signed and sealed the deal. Only then did Ling Xiao take out 10 Grotto Heaven spiritual pills. He had obtained a large amount of alchemy materials from Ling Yuhua and collected some from the Yuhua mountain range. The paradise spirit pills could be said to be sufficient. After all, they could be used until he broke through to the Yin-Yang realm. 20 pills was a small matter. However, his generosity made Chen Xingji and Chen do even more greedy. After Chen Xingji took the pills, she refused to hand the rabbit over to Ling Xiao. What? Are you going to go back on your word? A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He wanted to resolve this matter peacefully, but it seemed impossible now. Some people were really insatiable. So what if I go back on my word? You useless piece of trash from the Ling family. Get lost as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll cripple you today. We're stronger than you, so we can go back on our word. So what if you're not convinced? Chen Du roared. You idiot, how dare you do business with the Chen family? Don't you know that the Chen family and the Ling family don't get along? You can go back on your word just because you're stronger? Very good. I like such a straightforward rule. Ling Xiao looked at Chen Xingji and Chen Du coldly and said, in that case, if I cripple the two of you, I can also take the rabbit away for free. Ha ha ha, this kid is stupid. Even if it's just one of us, we can beat this kid up until he's looking for his teeth on the ground, right? He actually said that he wants to cripple the two of us. Sister, don't you think it's funny? Chen Du laughed when he heard that. It's funny indeed. It's very funny. Chen Xingji also laughed very happily. She felt that there was something wrong with Ling Xiao's brain. The surrounding crowd looked at Ling Xiao as if they were looking at an idiot. Why was there something wrong with a young man's brain? Little brother, I was friends with your father when he was alive. He drank with me a few times. Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't act on impulse. A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. Hurry up and leave. Someone seemed to be persuading him on the surface, but his words were full of sarcasm. It seemed that he was sure that Ling Xiao was no match for Chen Xingji and Chen Du. Another person said, where there's life, there's hope. You're a warrior who's reincarnated. There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to become stronger in the future. Why do you have to court death? Chen Xingji and Chen Du also looked at Ling Xiao with sarcasm, as if they were thinking of some harsh words to say to Ling Xiao, who knew that Ling Xiao would not give them the chance at all. After deciding to fight, he suddenly attacked. He pulled out the iron sword from the storage ring, and then wind blew under his feet. A sword light shot toward Chen Xingji like a meteor. It seemed that he was going to deal with both Chen Xingji and Chen Du at the same time. He was looking down on the genius disciples of the Chen family too much. There was an earth-shattering uproar in the crowd. Many people were there to watch the show and were not afraid of things getting out of hand. They did not care who won or lost. It was enough as long as the show was exciting. However, to be honest, most people were still frightened by Ling Xiao's fighting style. What was Ling Xiao's cultivation level? He actually dared to face two fourth Grotto Heaven realm powerhouses at the same time? Wasn't he courting death? Should I say that he's courageous or brave, but not smart? He's really something. It's rare to see such a way of courting death in Yuhua town. Everyone roared with laughter. Qin Xingji and Qin Du were also a little stunned. However, a moment later, a sinister smile appeared on their faces. Little brother, watch from the side first. It's enough for me to deal with this guy. She kept the rabbit in her arms directly into the beast ring so that she could focus on the battle. After all, the rabbit was worth 20 Grotto Heaven spiritual pills, which was 200,000 mid-grade spirit stones. It would be a pity to throw it away. Chapter 21-24. Qin Xingji's saber intent broke out from her body, wanting to block Ling Xiao's iron sword and even destroy it. The twin sabers were like scissors that cut towards Ling Xiao. Without waiting for Ling Xiao to get close, she actually took the initiative to attack. She wanted this arrogant brat to die under her twin sabers. She had long heard that Ling Xiao had used an extremely despicable method to kill the mysterious snake envoy. Although this brat did not admit it, if she killed him, it would definitely be a great merit. The twin sabers slashed out. The saber chi enveloped Ling Xiao's face, as if it wanted to cut Ling Xiao into pieces in front of so many people. Chen's saber technique. Twin sabers ghost destroying. Ding! The sword and saber met in the air. There was a crisp sound of collision, and then they slid apart. Neither of them seemed to have the upper hand in this exchange. The moment Qin Xingji withdrew her saber, she was ready to attack again, but she found that Ling Xiao was several times faster than her. The iron sword did not seem to have been withdrawn, and it instantly pierced towards her. The starlight was dazzling, and the sharp saber chi cut off a few strands of Qin Xingji's hair. She was so frightened that she did not dare to be careless, and could only block in a panic. In the world of martial arts, only speed was unbeatable, and one of the two greatest advantages of the falling star sword technique was its fast sword intent. First sword star flash, second sword star fall, third sword star break, fourth sword star break. In an instant, Ling Xiao had stabbed out 4 times, causing Qin Xingji to be flustered. Not only had her saber chi been blasted to pieces, but there were also many bloody marks on her body. Ling Xiao's eyes were still indifferent and full of ridicule. Looking at this pair of eyes, Qin Xingji could not help but be frightened. She did not understand what cultivation level Ling Xiao was at, and how could he suppress her so easily? She felt her heart trembling. He felt that his confidence was constantly crumbling. Ling Xiao would not be merciful because of her fear, and the iron sword in his hand continued to stab out. Qin Xingji activated all the elemental energy in her body to resist, but it had little effect. Among the onlookers, one of them was Ling Bei, who had just come out of the tavern. Ever since that year, Ling Bei would hide whenever he saw Ling Xiao. He was so scared that he couldn't sleep at night. Ling Xiao had become his nightmare. Originally, he had hoped that Qin Xingji and Chen Du would be able to destroy this nightmare of his. However, reality told him that he was overthinking things. Although Ling Xiao hadn't fought with the younger generation during the annual gathering, he had blocked Ling Jian's sword aura and survived the attack of the mysterious snake sex expert. Instead, he had killed that expert with a sneak attack. At that time, he already knew that Ling Xiao was very strong. However, he did not know exactly how strong they were. Now that he saw it today, he suddenly understood. Ling Xiao was actually able to easily suppress Qin Xingji, who was at the 4th Heavenly Grotto realm. In that case, Ling Moyu was definitely not his opponent. In the entire younger generation of the Ling family, apart from Ling Xiao, there was probably no one else who was a match for Ling Xiao. His nightmare was probably going to last forever. There was another person who had just arrived. She was also very surprised by Ling Xiao. This person was Ling Jiaojiao. After Ling Xiao left, She was still worried because she really didn't know how strong Ling Xiao was. Just as she arrived, she saw that Ling Xiao had already started fighting with Chen Xingji. Her beautiful eyes immediately flashed. Ling Xiao's falling star sword art was really too powerful. He could execute a low-tier gold-grade sword skill to such an extent. Perhaps in the entire Ascension Town, no, in the entire 8 Immortals County, there was no one as strong as him. Qin, what are you waiting for? Let's attack together. Chen Xingji was finally defeated by Ling Xiao's continuous attacks. She knew that she was no match for Ling Xiao alone. Therefore, she shouted at Qin in a panic. Qin hurriedly released his saber soul. Then he held a long saber in his hand and charged towards Ling Xiao. 2 against 1, how shameless. Didn't you say that you could kill my little brother Ling Xiao alone? Ling Jiaojiao couldn't help but mock. That's right. The Chen family really can't afford to lose. There were also a few mocking remarks from the crowd. However, Chen Xingji and Qin were not in the mood to care about those remarks. After the 2 of them joined forces, they thought that they could suppress Ling Xiao. Unexpectedly, the result of joining forces was not very effective. 5 sword star river fall. Ling Xiao shouted coldly. The iron sword in his hand suddenly flashed wildly. A sword qi like a river of stars pierced towards Chen Xingji and Chen Du at the same time. Chen Xingji and Qin swung their sabers to block. It was not that they didn't want to attack, but under Ling Xiao's sword light, they had no chance to resist at all. Crack! Almost at the same time, the weapons in their hands shattered at the same time. Their weapons were divine-grade, treasured weapons. Facing Ling Xiao's ordinary iron sword, they were not worth mentioning and were destroyed at the same time. Not only that, but there were obvious bloodstains on their wrists that continued to spread. 6 sword stars transformation. Ling Xiao did not stop. After performing the 5th move of the falling star sword technique, he directly performed the 6th move. At that moment, the entire space seemed to have turned into a world of starlight. Everyone's line of sight was completely blocked by this light. When their eyes could see again, they found Chen Xingji and Qin lying on the ground, vomiting blood and their hands trembling. There were a lot of wounds all over their bodies. If these wounds were not treated in time, even Grotto Heaven Realm martial artists would be in danger of dying. At this time, Chen Xingji and Qin no longer had the strength to get up from the ground. They looked at Ling Xiao with frightened eyes, their bodies constantly trembling. Looking at the 2 people coldly, Ling Xiao openly took the beast ring and storage ring from Chen Xingji's hand. The rabbit was in the beast ring. In Chen Xingji's storage ring, there were 20 Grotto Heaven spiritual elixirs and a lot of spirit stones. Ling Xiao took all of them without hesitation. In any case, this was the rule that the other party said. Whoever was strong enough could act shamelessly. Watching this scene with their mouths agape, the crowd's attitude towards Ling Xiao, which had been mocking and ridiculing him in every possible way, instantly changed completely. Perhaps from today onwards, the rumors about Ling Xiao in Yuhua Town would also change. To be able to easily defeat 2/4 Grotto Heaven realm martial artists by himself, Ling Xiao's strength was indeed incomparably valiant. He was worthy of being in the top 5 of Yuhua Town's young experts. Perhaps the top 3 would not be enough. After all, the Chen clans Qin Pai and Qin Kuan, as well as the Ling clan's Ling Jian, were still much stronger than Ling Xiao in many people's eyes. Ling Xiao's ranking would, at most, be in the top 4. Is this the terror of a reincarnation realm martial artist? I remember that the Ling clan's falling star sword technique is only a low-tier gold grade sword technique. It actually defeated Chen Xingji's Chen clan blade technique. The Chen clan blade technique is a low-tier jade grade martial technique. That's why I say this is a true genius. I'm afraid he was an absolute genius in the past. He cultivated to the rebirth realm at a very young age. That's right. Even reincarnation realm martial artists have differences in talent. This kid is probably a top-grade genius among those reincarnation realm martial artists. Chapter 21-25. In this Yuhua town now, Ling Xiao can probably easily rank in the top 5. Sigh, I thought that he was just a coward who only knows how to eat, drink, and play all day. I didn't expect that he's actually such a genius. If I knew earlier, I would have given all the wine his father drank here for free. Ling Tai drank a lot. He would lose a large sum of money if it was free. But if Ling Xiao grew up, the benefits to him would absolutely be more than just a little bit of money. He really regretted it. Obtaining the rabbit with the Moon Lady's aura. Ling Xiao no longer looked at Chen Xingji and Qin. He turned around and was about to leave. After all, his goal this time was Yuhua mountain range. The purpose was to kill a few more demonic beasts. On one hand, it was to replenish demonic beast crystal cores. On the other hand, it was also to hone his combat skills, especially the improvement of his law characteristic seal. Halt! Hurting our Qin family's people, and you want to leave just like that? Just as Ling Xiao turned around before he could take a step out, a cold voice suddenly sounded out. Ling Xiao remembered that this voice came from Ling Mayu's lover, Qin Kuan. Qin Kuan's cultivation was at the 5th Grotto Heaven Realm. Previously, before Ling Xiao broke through to the Grotto Heaven Realm, this guy already wanted to kill him. Just nice. This debt could be settled today. He did not fear 5th Grotto Heaven Realm martial artists at all. With his current cultivation, defeating 6th Grotto Heaven Realm martial artists was nothing difficult, let alone a mere Qin Kuan. Since someone came to throw away their lives, why should he leave? Bring the two of them back to recuperate. Qin Kuan looked at Chen Xingji and Chen Du, who were lying on the ground, unable to move, and was furious in his heart. Those two people on the ground were his younger sister and younger brother. To actually be humiliated and hurt like this, how could he take it lying down? Boom! Suddenly, a horrifying aura was released. Ling Xiao could not help getting a huge shock. The cultivation that Chen Kuan released was actually not 5th Grotto Heaven Realm, but 7th Grotto Heaven Realm. This guy had actually been hiding his strength all along. The Chen family's people were indeed sinister and powerful enough. In the entire Ling family's younger generation, apart from that Ling Jian, probably no one could contend with this Qin Kuan. So powerful. So, young Master Qin Kuan is actually a 7th Grotto Heaven Realm expert. Ling Xiao is finished now. That's right. It's already a miracle that he was able to defeat those 2 4th Grotto Heaven Realm martial artists. Against Qin Kuan, I'm afraid he has no chance of winning. No one was optimistic about Ling Xiao, just because the cultivation that Qin Kuan displayed really surprised people to the extreme. Too strong. He was so powerful that it made people despair. Even Ling Jiaojiao felt her whole body trembling. She hurriedly grabbed Ling Xiao and said, Ling Xiao, let's stop fighting. Let's go back. If we run away, we still have a chance. Ling Xiao gently patted Ling Jiaojiao's hand and smiled. Don't worry, Jiaojiao. He can't kill me. Indeed, Qin Kuan's cultivation gave Ling Xiao a shock, but it was merely a shock. It was true that Xiao Chen could not defeat a 7th Grotto Heaven Realm cultivator. However, the gap between them was not too great. If he used his tyrannical strength, he still had a 10 to 20% chance of winning. And it was basically impossible for Qin Kuan to kill him. Even if he could not defeat Qin Kuan, he still had many ways to survive. However, running away before fighting was definitely not Ling Xiao's style. Unless his opponent was a Yin-Yang realm martial artist, he really would not run away. Run? Most of this Yuhua town belongs to our Qin family. Where can the two of you escape to? Qin Kuan looked at Ling Xiao and Ling Jiaojiao disdainfully and said, You seriously injured my brother and sister and want to leave without paying a price. There's no such good thing in the world. You talk too much. If you want to fight, then fight. I want to see who will be the one running away in the end. Ling Xiao pushed Ling Jiaojiao to the side. He was actually looking forward to this battle very much. The stronger the opponent, the more useful it was for tempering the aspect seal. How could those brainless things like demonic beasts compare to a true martial artist? Chen Kuan was stunned for a moment before he laughed loudly. You are indeed foolish and bold. However, you don't have the chance today. I forgot to tell you that I am also an outer disciple of the mystic snake demon sect. I am the same as Ling Wansui, but I am much stronger than him. I heard that you used the falling star sword art to defeat Ling Wansui's black snake demon art. Today, I'll let you see what the real black snake demonic art is. Everyone get out of the way. The black snake demon art is a mid-tier jade grade martial technique. Moreover, the demonic aura is overwhelming. If you get too close, you will die. The crowd suddenly panicked. They all ran towards the distance. This time it was not a joke. With Chen Kuan's 7th Grotto Heaven Realm cultivation coupled with the black snake demon art, Ling Xiao could no longer win. They did not want to be implicated. Ling Xiao, a wise man, knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. Hurry up and run. Ling Jiaojiao was even more anxious. If Chen Kuan was only at the 5th Grotto Heaven Realm, she would not say anything. Ling Xiao would probably have a chance to win. However, the current situation was that Chen Kuan had previously concealed his cultivation. His true cultivation was at the 7th Grotto Heaven Realm. Ling Xiao still chose to fight with him. That was simply courting death. Jiao Jiao, listen to me. Go back first. I will be fine. Ling Xiao glanced at Ling Jiaojiao, then looked at Chen Kuan. The iron sword in his hand was filled with sword intent as he pointed it at Chen Kuan. You have really surprised me. 7th Grotto Heaven Realm cultivation. No wonder the Ling family has been suppressed by your Chen family for the past few years. If it was not for that old fart Ling Yuhua still alive, the Ling family would have been swallowed by your Chen family. Powerful, truly powerful. It's good that you know how powerful I am. I can give you a quick death, but you have to hand over all the Grotto Heaven spiritual pills on you. Chen Kuan said proudly, Let's not daydream about this. You won't have the chance. Ling Xiao said indifferently, Not to mention you. Even if your Ling family's Yuhua king came, he would not be able to force me to hand over what I don't want to hand over. Cut the crap and let's fight. If you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Chen Kuan revealed a ferocious expression as a blood-red long blade appeared in his right hand. This blade was very thin and looked very sharp. Before the blade was slashed out, the terrifying blade aura had already caused the surrounding crowd to feel the pain of their skin being cut. A hothead will always be a hothead. Ling Xiao of the Ling family has already endured for so long. He could have just endured a little longer. Why did he have to puff himself up at his own cost? This time he is really dead. It is said that a good-looking person would not suffer a loss when the odds are against him. This kid is simply a lunatic. It seems like he doesn't understand this principle at all. That's right. If he lives for a few more months, Qin Zhao might not be his match. I heard that the cultivation of martial artists who have entered the cycle of reincarnation increases rather quickly. The crowd's discussion made Qin Zhao very uncomfortable. What did they mean by he would not be Ling Zhao's match in a few more months? Didn't this mean that his talent was not as good as this guy? Chapter 21-26. Qin Kuan was very unhappy. Ling Xiao was unfazed by his 7th Grotto Heaven Realm aura? This was simply beyond his expectations. Under normal circumstances, Ling Xiao should have been scared to the point of fleeing or begging for mercy. Forget it. Since that's the case, I'll kill you to prove my strength. Thinking of this, he pointed his blood-red saber at Ling Xiao and channeled all of his internal energy. Streaks of blood-red light flowed into the saber in his hand. This power was truly terrifying. It was more than 10 times stronger than Chun Singji and Chun Du then. The blood-red saber emitted a sharp black sword aura that transformed into a black snake as thick as a water bucket. Is that the black snake demonic art? So scary, so evil. Ling Jiao trembled all over as she looked at Ling Xiao helplessly. At this moment, she really wanted to help, but the demonic qi released by the black snake made her unable to move. It was as if she was paralyzed. "This demonic aura is poisonous," she exclaimed. "Ling Xiao, be careful. That black aura is poisonous." "Ha ha ha, it's too late for that now." The scariest thing about the black snake demonic art is that the aura it releases can combine with the elements in the air to form a terrifying poison that can paralyze the opponent. "Ling Xiao, let me avenge the black snake envoy today. Who knows? You might even become my stepping stone into the inner sect of the Black Snake demonic sect." The terrifying energy of the Black Snake demonic art had completely condensed on the tip of the blood-red saber. It could explode at any time. Ling Xiao didn't dare to be careless. Starlight began to condense on the tip of his sword. The falling star sword technique had a total of 9 swords. He'd only used 6 to defeat Qin Singji and Qin. The last 3 swords were for Qin Kuan. He really wanted to use the Dharma seal. But if Chun Zhao couldn't even block the last 3 swords, then there was no need for the seal. Even if he used it, he probably wouldn't gain anything. He's still going to use the falling star sword technique? The crowd was in an uproar. Originally, he thought that Ling Xiao definitely had some other more powerful moves when facing Qin Kuan. But who knew that in the end? Ling Xiao only used the falling star sword art. He's dead for sure. Does he really think that a low-tier gold grade sword skill can contend against a mid-tier jade grade martial skill? To be honest, what these people said was not wrong. Purely based on the falling star sword art, Ling Xiao only had a 10% to 20% chance of defeating Qin Kuan. However, this was only the result of the Taiji Eyes analysis. If he didn't try, he wouldn't know. Although he liked to use the Tai Chi Eye, he did not rely on it. Kill. The two of them roared almost at the same time as the sword and the saber clashed in the void. The 7th sword of the falling star sword art, Star Annihilation. The resplendent light suddenly exploded. It was even more dazzling than before, and it was released on the street. At the same time, the terrifying black snake opened its huge mouth and swallowed the light. The light disappeared in an instant. It is indeed powerful. The 8th sword, Galaxy Explosion. Ling Xiao did not retreat. He shook the iron sword in his hand and released a brand new move. It was as if countless stars exploded at the same time. The power of this move was several times stronger than the 7th sword. The black snake head was finally blasted into pieces. "It's useless. You spent so much effort and only destroyed one of my snake heads." Chen Kuan's cold voice sounded. There were actually 3 snake heads biting towards Ling Xiao at the same time. The 9th sword, Universe Break. The sky and the ground were filled with twinkling stars. It was as if the universe in this small space had exploded. The 3 snake heads were destroyed at the same time. Qin Kuan was also sent flying. But before Chun Kuan landed, he suddenly turned back and slashed down with the blood-red saber in his hand. Black Snake Wild Dance. Under the saber, Saber Chi danced. The entire space was filled with black snakes. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. Ling Xiao could block Qin Kuan's continuous attacks and not die. This was already very shocking. At this moment, Ling Xiao actually forced Qin Kuan to use the most powerful move in the Black Snake demonic art. Today's long battle was probably not going to end peacefully. One of them had to die in battle before it could stop. The county governor has arrived. Make way. Just as Ling Xiao was about to use the Transcendence Seal, a voice suddenly sounded. The two withdrew their fists and legs almost at the same time and stood on both sides of the road. The county governor was the chief official of the 8 Immortals County. It was said that he was also a powerhouse and his cultivation was stronger than Ling Yuhua and the old man of the Qin family. Moreover, this person was an inner disciple of the Black Snake demonic sect. It was someone from the imperial court. No one dared to provoke the county governor. Ling Xiao did not want to cause trouble. Moreover, he had thought about it. Even if he used the Transcendent Seal, he would not be able to defeat Qin Kuan unless he used the Sky Tyrant Martial Soul. But if he won like that, it would be meaningless. Once the Sky Tyrant Martial Soul was exposed, not only would his identity be exposed, but even those who did not know his identity would come to kill him. Before he became the strongest person in the mystic world, he did not intend to reveal the secret. Anyway, he had plenty of opportunities to kill Qin Kuan. It would not be at this moment. The Ascension sacrifice was already very close. The county governor of the 8 Immortals County had probably come to Ascension Town so early to preside over this important event. However, Ling Xiao still felt that it was a little strange. Although the Ascension sacrifice was very important, coming to Ascension Town nearly a month in advance still gave off a sense of disharmony. After the county governor's carriage left, Qin Kuan wanted to look for Ling Xiao again, but he realized that Ling Xiao was nowhere to be found. Not only was Ling Xiao gone, but so was Ling Jiao Jiao. Humph! I'll let your head stay on your neck for a few more days. It seems that the county governor is coming to our Qin family. I have to go back and welcome him. Qin Zhao snorted coldly and turned to leave. At the moment, Ling Xiao was walking briskly outside Ascension Town alone. After injuring Chun Xingji and Qin Du, the Chun family would definitely cause trouble for the Ling family. He did not have the time to deal with them. Thus, he decided to go directly to Ascension Mountain Range. As for Ling Jiao Jiao, she had already returned to the Ling family. Ascension Mountain Range was very dangerous. Ling Xiao could not bring Ling Jiao Jiao and Little Fifth. They might be wronged at the Ling family, but they would not die. However, if they went to Ascension Mountain Range, they might die. As he walked, Ling Xiao's figure suddenly disappeared from the spot. A figure who had been tailing Ling Xiao jumped in fright, but before he could react, a sword had already been placed across his neck. Aren't you tired after following me for so long? As soon as Ling Xiao left the city, he sensed that someone had been following him. He thought that the person would attack after leaving the city, but the person clearly did not do anything. Chen Zhao did not want to wait anymore and decided to ask directly. Raise your hands and turn around slowly. Ling Xiao said. The person raised his hands and turned around slowly, facing Ling Xiao. It's you. Chapter 21-27. So it's you. Ling Xiao instantly recognized the person who was following him. Of the 2 people who came to the town to assassinate him that day, one was killed by him, and the other was this person. This guy escaped. It had only been a month or so. The assassin who was weaker than him back then was even less likely to be his opponent now. I thought you would run away after failing to assassinate me. I didn't expect you to show up. Interesting. Ling Xiao had some doubts. Even an assassin who was not afraid of death would think of other ways when he knew he was no match for his opponent. It would be better if he could not find a helper. This person actually came to find him alone. There must be something else. Don't do it. I'm not here to kill you this time. I'm here to ask for your help. The assassin said, Ask for my help. Ling Xiao frowned and asked, Yes, I can tell you now who ordered us to kill you. The assassin nodded. No conditions? Ling Xiao asked. No. The assassin shook his head. There was anger and sadness in his eyes. He explained, The person who ordered me to kill you is the second master of the Chen family, Qianlong. Qianlong? He killed my father and still won't let me go? What's the reason? Ling Xiao asked. I don't know. I'm just working for him. He won't tell me. The assassin shook his head and said, "But there's one thing I'm particularly concerned about. Every time he gives an order, he seems to have to discuss it with someone else. So I suspect that there might be someone else behind him." "Why? Did he offend you?" Ling Xiao asked with a smile. "Yes, because I couldn't complete the task. He brutally killed my 6-year-old daughter. I don't have the ability to kill him, so I can only ask for your help." The assassin replied, "This reason makes sense, but do you think I'll let you go?" Ling Xiao looked coldly at the assassin. He wanted to kill Qinlong, but he would not let this assassin go. If he did not have some strength, wouldn't he have been assassinated long ago? "Since I came to find you, I didn't expect to leave alive. But can you let me watch Qinlong die before I die?" The assassin asked. "What do you think?" Ling Xiao asked. "That's impossible." "I understand now." The assassin sighed. "Anyway, that Qinlong is also your enemy. You can definitely kill him. Come on, give me a quick death." He closed his eyes and stretched his neck to Ling Xiao. A moment later, he didn't feel any pain in his neck. He couldn't help but open his eyes. "But then you'll see Qinlong." The assassin's eyes grew moist when he saw this line of words. He gritted his teeth and said, "Qinlong, you will definitely die in front of me. Definitely." After saying that, he also disappeared into the dense forest. During this period, he had to hide to avoid being discovered by Qinlong. He wanted to see Qinlong die with his own eyes. At that time, even if he died, it would be worth it. At this time, Ling Xiao had already stepped into the Yuhua mountain range. He did not lose anything by letting the assassin go for the time being. An assassin that he could kill at any time was no longer a threat. Perhaps he could be of use at a critical time. The assassin definitely knew more than that. Giving him a little favor would allow him to gain something in the future. This was called casting a long line to catch a big fish. "Shendian, you said you came from the central region. Do you know the Eternal Palace?" In the dense forest, Ling Xiao let Shendian out. With Shendian outside, he could help him to guard the surrounding situation. There were only benefits and no disadvantages. In any case, he was not worried that Shendian would escape. Shendian hoped to be able to rely on a strong person, at least someone who had the potential to become a strong person. And he was one. During this period of time, the battle prowess and wisdom he had displayed had made Shendian completely willing to follow him wholeheartedly. Of course, I've heard of it. The Eternal Palace is the largest sect in the Black Tortoise Continent. It stands at the top of the Black Tortoise Continent. Shendian replied, "Is there a young master of the Eternal Palace who mysteriously disappeared?" Although it was wrong to suspect his father, Ling Xiao still wanted to confirm if what Ling Tai said was true. That's right. Many years ago, the young masters of the Eternal Palace fought for the position of the palace master. Several of them were killed. There was also a young master who mysteriously disappeared. There is still no news of him. It is said that when he left, he stole the most precious treasure of the Eternal Palace, the Eternal Seal. Shendian replied, "Then what is the secret of the Eternal Seal? Why did the previous palace masters of the Eternal Palace only cultivate to the 3rd level at most?" Ling Xiao asked again, "I don't know about this, but it is said that the Eternal Seal was not originally called the Eternal Seal. It has another name called the Xianbi Seal. It seems that one needs to collect something to cultivate it completely. But after this thing fell into the hands of the Eternal Palace, the people of the Eternal Palace changed the name to the Eternal Seal in order to hide its origin. The logic is the same. You also know that the Xian beasts include the Sky Dragon, Godly Phoenix, White Tiger, Black Tortoise, and so on. These are the ones with the longest lifespans and can reach the realm of immortality. So this name is appropriate." Shendian thought for a while before replying. It could be heard that Shendian's understanding of the Eternal Palace was limited to what the people around him said. This proved that Shendian was not from the Eternal Palace. Since this was the case, Ling Xiao was relieved. Actually, Ling Xiao was still quite worried. If Shen Dian was from the Eternal Palace, then he would have to be extremely careful. Who knew if this guy was a spy sent by the Eternal Palace? Finally, he came to the cave where he cultivated last time. Ling Xiao released the rabbit that he just got. He really wanted to find the Moon Lady now. The underworld was dangerous, and the mystic world was full of danger. No one knew what the Moon Lady would encounter. He injected his soul power into the rabbit's body and saw something. Outside the Eternal Palace, are there two huge black tortoise sculptures? Ling Xiao asked. Yes, have you been there before? Shen Dian asked curiously. Ling Xiao did not answer. Instead, he frowned. From the rabbit's memory, he saw that the Moon Lady had reincarnated into the Eternal Palace. But he did not know who or what she had reincarnated into. This time, the plan to find the Moon Lady would have to be delayed indefinitely. If he went to the Eternal Palace now, he would be courting death. They could easily kill him with a finger. But that's good. The Moon Lady has reincarnated into the Eternal Palace. It's impossible for others to harm her. Once my cultivation recovers, I'll go there to take a look. I must save the Moon Lady. Ling Xiao got rid of the distracting thoughts in his mind. Anyway, there was no point in thinking about it now. Chapter 21-28. Shen Dian, help me keep a lookout. I feel that the seal of eternal life contains some special secrets. This is also one of the reasons why I came to Feather Mountain Range. Ling Xiao told Shen Dian that he had obtained the seal of eternal life. Firstly, he wanted to get closer to Shen Dian. Secondly, he wanted to test the divine grimoire. If Shen Dian heard that he had obtained the seal of eternal life, he could get rid of this trouble as soon as possible. However, he obviously worried too much. Shen Dian wasn't that interested in the seal of eternal life. He didn't even have the slightest emotional fluctuation. Perhaps this was the so-called my immortal herb, another's poison. Not bothering about Shen Dian, Ling Xiao immersed himself in the process of comprehending the seal of eternal life. He believed that the seal of eternal life wasn't as simple as it looked. Otherwise, it would be hard to understand how a powerful force like Eternal Life Palace couldn't comprehend it. Ling Xiao's soul came out of his shell and entered the universe of Tyrant. The inscriptions of the seal of eternal life unfolded in the vast universe. It was vast and heart-stopping. Even Tao Tai, who was lying in the depths of the universe, roared in dissatisfaction. He then turned and flew further away. Ling Xiao didn't care about it and continued to focus on deciphering the inscriptions. At this moment, the mountain river world in the universe of Tyrant suddenly shook. In the mountain river world, there were originally 9 cauldrons. Only the first cauldron was released by Ling Xiao, allowing him to comprehend the light and shadow ultimacy. Hence, Ling Xiao named this divine cauldron as the Light and Darkness Divine Cauldron. His light and shadow ultimacy hadn't reached the highest level. Logically speaking, the second cauldron couldn't be released. However, the second cauldron flew out and formed a connection with the inscriptions of the seal of eternal life. Could it be that the second cauldron created by the Human King is related to the seal of eternal life? Ling Xiao was shocked. The second cauldron flew into the universe of Tyrant and released countless strange patterns. Ling Xiao took a closer look. These patterns were actually some strange beasts. The strongest ones were naturally the divine dragons of the immemorial era, including the 9 great immemorial dragons and the immemorial golden dragon king. Xian Beast Cauldron. A name appeared in Ling Xiao's mind. This was the name given to the second cauldron by the human monarch. Xian Beast Seal. This was the original name of the seal of eternal life. There was indeed a connection. As the profound beast cauldron continuously released the patterns, the inscriptions on the seal of eternal life also started to flicker intensely. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered continuously. I see. So that's how it was. In the end, the transcendent seal was only the foundation of the entire seal of eternal life. Well, in that case, I will practice according to the meaning of this inscription. With that in mind, Ling Xiao abruptly performed a Dharma seal and visualized the Dharma idol of a primordial hell dragon. This primordial hell dragon was in Ling Xiao's universe of tyrants, so visualizing it was the easiest. The moment the ancient hell dragon was successfully visualized, there were no other profound beast diagrams in the profound beast cauldron. In its place were clusters of terrifying black-purple flames. Ling Xiao breathed in this aura and felt a force awakening in his body. At this moment, Shen Dian, who was in the depths of the cave, was looking at Ling Xiao's body in horror. This was because Ling Xiao's body was constantly releasing black flames. Anything that came into contact with these black flames would be corroded and destroyed. What kind of flame is this? How can it be so terrifying? Shen Dian thought that she was once considered an expert. Although she was sealed in the secret sword, she still had the guts. But today she was really afraid. She didn't know what Ling Xiao was doing, but she didn't dare to alarm Ling Xiao. She was afraid that Ling Xiao would go berserk because of this. Fortunately, the flames stopped spreading after 4 to 5 meters. This allowed Shen Dian to finally breathe a sigh of relief. In the secret sword, the figure of a blonde girl appeared. She was praying to the heavens. She was praying that Ling Xiao would be safe and sound. At the same time, in the tyrannical universe, a huge ancient hell dragon was hovering in the universe. Its tail was at one end of the galaxy, but its head was at the other end. With a casual swing of its huge head, countless stars were destroyed. The surroundings of this ancient hell dragon was completely a world of ancient hellfire. It burned crazily and completely surrounded Ling Xiao. Master, you're crazy. How did you visualize such a monster? It's tens of thousands of times stronger than I was back then. No, hundreds of thousands of times stronger. The ancient hell dragon, Long Slayer, who lived in the Dragon Talisman, appeared at this moment and was shocked when he saw this terrifying scene. However, Ling Xiao didn't have time to answer him. The vast dragon's roar was heard, and countless stars were constantly exploding. Then the huge ancient hell dragon drilled into Ling Xiao's small body. The key point was that Ling Xiao was still unable to move and could only let this huge body enter his body. Damn, this time it's really big. The human king once said that before completely cultivating the light and shadow profound, one must never open the second cauldron. But this time, it's purely a coincidence. I didn't want this to happen. How can there be such a huge and terrifying ancient hell dragon? If the ancient hell dragon of the mystic world is so terrifying, the human race would have been destroyed long ago. What would the human king do? Ling Xiao was also complaining in his heart. It wasn't that he was timid, but the current scene was really a little scary. As the huge ancient hell dragon drilled into Ling Xiao's body, Ling Xiao felt a terrifying heat that could completely burn his body. In any case, he was someone who controlled divine fire. Facing this heat, he was completely unable to resist. Compared to this terrifying divine dragon, Ling Xiao was like a grain of sand compared to the entire starry sky. The disparity was really too great. If not for the fact that this huge ancient hell dragon had no intention of killing him, his soul and body would have disappeared by now. One had to know that even a snake swallowing an elephant could kill itself. What's more, Ling Xiao was going to swallow an ancient hell dragon as huge as the starry sky. He really felt like he was going to die. Even when he was about to be killed in battle, he had never felt such despair. It was too miserable. Even if the archaic hell dragon didn't intend to kill him, he would still explode from the pressure. Because of a special opportunity, Ling Xiao had opened the second cauldron before the human king's conditions were met. So now he was really in an extremely dangerous situation. One careless mistake and he would be consigned to eternal damnation. He could feel his consciousness slowly blurring, as if he was about to fall asleep. Once he slept, he would probably bid farewell to this world forever. I can't sleep, I can't die yet. The great ambition of unifying the mystic world has yet to be completed. The Moon Maiden has yet to be found. There are still so many good brothers and sisters waiting for me. Chapter 21-29. To Ling Xiao, he had too many ties and too many unfinished business. His first reincarnation was just the beginning. How could he die now? In terms of willpower, it was not that Ling Xiao looked down on others, but if he said he was second, no one would dare to say they were first. With the help of the Sky Tyrant martial soul, his willpower could even resist the heaven's mandate, holy light of a king of sovereigns. He had even swallowed the demon seed. How could he admit defeat so easily? My body isn't just this physical body. The entire Sky Tyrant universe is mine. Are you going to explode? Following Ling Xiao's thoughts, the entire Sky Tyrant martial soul started to operate. The energy that had made him uncomfortable turned into countless tiny streams of energy that flowed into his body. Then, a clear imprint formed in the depths of his spirit sea. This small imprint was all-encompassing and could contain the entire immemorial hell, dragon, celestial body. Haha, I'm bound to have good fortune after surviving a great disaster. This seal of eternity is probably more powerful than I thought. It can actually corroborate with the human king's dark beast cauldron. Interesting. Just as Ling Xiao was rejoicing and his primordial spirit returned to his body, a piercing pain shot through his body. The imprint in his spirit sea released a strange energy that rampaged through his body. It was similar to the feeling he had when he had fused with the immemorial golden dragon cells. However, it was much more painful than that. Damn it! Why is it so painful every time I cultivate? Can it be easier? Ling Xiao closed his eyes and gritted his teeth as he tried his best to channel this energy. Fortunately, the energy released from the Hell Dragon imprint wasn't as much as before. It was released slowly, so his body could still withstand it. However, he felt a little strange. He felt as if something incredible had grown out of his body. This reminded him of the human dragon form that he had once possessed. However, at that time, the so-called human dragon form was just a way for him to use the power of the immemorial golden dragon's bloodline to change his body's shape. Anyone with a bloodline would be able to do so. However, the situation today seemed different. This wasn't the power of the bloodline, but the imprint in the depths of his soul. The power of the bloodline could only change one's body. However, the imprint of the soul could change anything that one's soul possessed. For example, if Ling Xiao's soul power was injected into a rock, the rock's shape would change. The strengthening of the soul was more terrifying and sturdier than the strengthening of the bloodline. At this moment, Ling Xiao opened his eyes and visualized the immemorial Hell Dragon's appearance. His body continued to change. Although he was still in his human dragon form, it was completely different from his previous form. Now that Ling Xiao was in this humanoid dragon form, he could truly feel that he was an ancient hell dragon. And this power that caused his body to change was the result of the combination of the profound beast cauldron and the profound beast seal. It was immemorial hell boom. When his body completely transformed into the hell human dragon form, a powerful and terrifying dragon Qi suddenly soared into the sky. At that moment, Ling Xiao smiled. This breakthrough in his cultivation came suddenly and was a little unexpected. The middle level of the Grotto Heaven realm. A reincarnation realm martial artist's mid-level cultivation was equivalent to a 6th Grotto Heaven realm martial artist. However, with Ling Xiao's strength, he was much stronger. It's time to go out and test my power. Ling Xiao didn't withdraw his immemorial hell dragon form. He was already used to the changes in his body. Heavenly demon battle body, heaven earth queen, and so on. He already had experience in this area. Therefore, he was very familiar with the immemorial hell dragon form. Stepping out of the cave, Ling Xiao opened his Tai Chi eye. His strange eyes scanned the desolate forest. In that instant, a large number of wild beasts actually fled in panic, perhaps due to the spread of the dragon chi. Roar! A furious roar came from afar. The beast king of this territory was furious. There were actually foreign demonic beasts behaving atrociously in its territory. How could it let them off? Hearing this roar, Shen Dian was shocked and hurriedly hid in Ling Zhao's storage ring. On the other hand, Ling Zhao's lips curled into a cold smile. Who exactly is the overlord of this territory? We'll soon find out. Roar! The beast's roar came closer and closer. Ling Zhao could already see the giant beast's appearance clearly. It was a huge white ape. The white ape was 5 to 6 meters tall. Its huge body flashed and moved at an extremely fast speed. When it saw Ling Zhao, it didn't stop at all. It jumped up and smashed its fists toward Ling Zhao's head. It's a Grotto Heaven Realm demon beast at the 7th Grotto Heaven Realm. It's the same cultivation as Qin Kuan. However, a demon beast is still a demon beast. It should be slightly weaker than Qin Kuan. Originally, when a martial artist's cultivation was lower, a demon beast was stronger than an ordinary martial artist. However, at the Grotto Heaven Realm, a martial artist's body was comparable to a demon beast's body. Demon beasts had no advantage in this aspect. On the other hand, martial artists were obviously more skilled in martial arts. Therefore, at the same cultivation level, martial artists were obviously stronger. If Ling Zhao couldn't even defeat this white ape, then he shouldn't think about anything else. Poor guy. You can't tell the strength of your opponent. You're going to die here in the end. There wasn't a shred of emotion in Ling Zhao's eyes. It was as if the ancient hell dragon had been reborn, cold and bloodthirsty. The shadow of a dragon flashed. Then, a hand pierced the white ape's body. The white ape let out an earth-shattering scream. It finally felt fear. However, it was too late. Ling Zhao pulled his hand out instantly. He was holding the white ape's demon beast core in his hand. He didn't use any martial arts techniques. It was just a simple attack, and he killed this terrifying 7th Grotto Heaven Realm demon beast in one move. Fortunately, Qin Kuan didn't see the scene. Otherwise, Qin Kuan probably wouldn't dare to make a fuss in front of Ling Zhao again. At that time, Ling Zhao would probably lose the best chance to kill Qin Kuan. Crack! What made Shen Dian dumbfounded was that Ling Zhao actually threw the white ape's demon beast core into his mouth and ate it as if he was eating rock candy. Ling Zhao could feel that after eating this demon beast core, his intermediate Grotto Heaven Realm cultivation, which was originally unstable, had completely stabilized. Not only that, but the energy continued to be replenished. It seemed that he had the intention of continuing to advance. However, one demon beast core of a 7th Grotto Heaven Realm demon beast was definitely not enough. Even if Ling Zhao was eager to break through, he wouldn't be greedy. Every time he was promoted, he had to make steady progress. He didn't lack energy anyway. Until now, there was still a large amount of energy in the Dragon Talisman and the 18 Hell Talismans that had not been digested in the past. He swallowed demon beast cores and elixirs so that he could convert this energy as soon as possible. However, he couldn't do it too quickly. If he did, it would be easy to take a wrong path. In the end, the loss would definitely outweigh the gain. Chapter 2130. You have the ancient hell dragon soul in your body. When Ling Zhao regained his original appearance, Shen Dian asked in astonishment, "Yes, what's so strange about that?" Ling Zhao said with a smile. He thought that Shen Dian was making a fuss over nothing. He not only had the ancient hell dragon soul in his body, but also the ancient nature dragon soul and the ancient 5 elements dragon soul. If he said it out loud, this little girl would be scared to death. Shen Dian sighed in his heart. This time he was really lucky to have met such an outstanding young man. It seemed that it was only a matter of time before this youth helped him regain his original appearance. Thinking about it, he felt that he hadn't been able to help Ling Xiao in any way and couldn't help but feel a little anxious. If he couldn't help Ling Xiao, it was equivalent to saying that he had lost his value. Things that had lost their value and had no emotional fetters would really be thrown away. All right, Godly Codex, you don't have to think too much about it. The Sword of Secret Techniques is a very beneficial supplement to my battle strength. What you need to do is to help me study the seals on the Sword of Secret Techniques. The sooner you break them, the sooner I'll be able to use a more powerful secret technique. The mysteries of the 9 cauldrons were the foundation of all of Ling Xiao's martial arts. It was also the direction of Ling Xiao's main attack. The Light and Darkness Divine Cauldron and the Xian Beast Cauldron were the same, but this didn't prevent him from increasing his battle strength. For example, this secret technique sword could bring out his powerful soul power, which was also very good. Counting the time, it had been more than half a month since he broke the seal of eternal life and opened the Xian Beast Cauldron. There weren't many days left until the emergence sacrifice. Ling Xiao didn't intend to go back so early. His current cultivation needed to be consolidated, and the seal of eternal life also needed to be strengthened. It needed to be explained that the seal of eternal life had 2 seals, external and internal. The external seal was cultivated by the palace master of the Eternal Life Palace. The first move was the Transcendent Seal. The internal seal was opened by Ling Xiao after the seal of eternal life was connected to the Xian Beast Cauldron. At present, there was only one Hell Dragon seal. Not only could it increase the power of external seals, but it could also be used alone to increase one's cultivation. Ling Xiao planned to cultivate both internally and externally. The hard work he had put into the Transcendent Seal had not been in vain. Now he still needed to strengthen it. Chen Kuin! Oh, Chen Kuin! The appearance of the 8 Immortals County's county governor prevented us from having a final showdown. I admit that it was difficult to win against you at that time. But now that I have the diabolical dragon seal and my cultivation has skyrocketed, you're no longer worth mentioning in my eyes. I really don't know if you'll regret not attacking me together that day if you meet me again. Ling Xiao sneered and began his crazy training in the Feather Mountain Range. 6 days later, there were still 2 days before the Ascension sacrifice. Ling Xiao washed himself in the nearby river before taking out a clean set of clothes from his storage ring and putting them on. He was preparing to return to Ascension Town. Let's go, Divine Codex. When we return this time, we must give those people a huge surprise. Ling Xiao used the meteor steps and broke through the air. Now that he was getting closer and closer to his previous cultivation, he felt extremely carefree. Although he was cooperating with Ling Yuhua because of his ability to refine elixirs, he still had to be careful. After all, he was not completely safe. Only by increasing his strength and cultivation would he be able to suppress Ling Yuhua and take control of Ascension Town. Although he had suffered a lot during the 6 days of continuous special training, his understanding of the Dharma Image Seal had also improved. The Transcendent Seal could be used to visualize all the gods in the God Investiture catalog, but what he could grasp now was only a portion of Nez's and Erlingshin's abilities. Nothing seemed like it could be accomplished overnight. Fortunately, the Transcendent Seal had been raised to the Greater Mastery Realm and was much stronger than the initial Mastery Realm. Together with the Diabolical Dragon Seal within, it would become his most powerful ultimate move. Of course, it depended on whether there was anyone who was qualified to make him use this move. After all, his Meteor Fall sword technique had also become stronger after his cultivation had increased. And this sword technique, which was originally at the Great Perfection Realm, had now reached the Transformation Realm. Its power had also increased by a lot. He believed that even if he did not use the Seal of Eternity, he could still easily defeat Qin Kuin half a month ago with just the Meteor Fall sword technique. Of course, Qin Kuin's cultivation might have increased during this period of time, but it would at most be one level higher. He would still not be a match for Ling Yin. When Ling Xiao stepped into the Ling family's courtyard, he saw a group of people walking out of the Ling family. He looked up and saw the county governor of the 8 Immortals County leading the group. There were 2 people beside him. One was Ling Yuhua, and the other was the Chen family's patriarch, Qin Songhai. Logically speaking, he was the Ascension King and could totally disregard the county governor of the 8 Immortals County. But this county governor was an inner disciple of the mysterious snake demon sect. Although he was the Ascension King of the Chen country, he could only be a foil. Following the 3 of them were the 2nd and 3rd generations of the Chen and Ling families. Qin Ran, Qin Long, Qin Kuan, Qin Pai, Qin Xingji, Qin Du, Ling Jian, Ling Mayu, Ling Jiaojiao, Ling Bei, and Ling Yan were all there. There were also many other youths that Ling Xiao did not recognize. Only Ling Xiao was not among them. "Xiao, come over and greet the county governor." Seeing Ling Xiao, Ling Yuhua said in a deep voice. Ling Xiao smiled and cupped his hands at the county governor. "This commoner pays his respects to the county governor. Hee, I've heard of you. You are the one who shocked the world during the Ling family's annual meeting." The county governor was smiling, but his eyes were filled with killing intent. Ling Xiao knew what he meant. He had killed the mysterious snake envoy. As a fellow mysterious snake demon sect governor, how could he let the matter rest? He did not seek trouble directly. Ling Yin did not know what he was thinking. "You flatter me, county governor," Ling Xiao said plainly. "Humph, at least you have some self-awareness. These days, you fled to the wilderness. Did you think that you had escaped a calamity? However, can you escape the Ascension sacrifice? Unless you don't dare to participate." Chen Kuan suddenly snorted. Ling Xiao chuckled. "Reckless fool, you will know whose calamity it is during the Ascension sacrifice." Following that, he cupped his hands at the county governor and Ling Yuhua. "County governor, clan leader, I'm a little tired. I'm going back to rest." With that, he ignored everyone's gazes and walked straight to his small courtyard. Brother, Ling Jiaojiao hurriedly followed. Compared to accompanying these people, Ling Jiaojiao wanted to be with Ling Xiao the most. "County governor, please don't be angry. This child's temperament changed drastically after his parents died. Please forgive him," Ling Yuhua said hurriedly. "It's fine." Chapter 2131. All right. Old Patriarch Ling, there's no need to send me off. I'm here for no other reason than to hope that the Chen and Ling families can live in harmony. No matter who wins this ascension ritual, they can't take revenge on the other family in the future. Otherwise, I won't forgive them. After leaving, the prefectural governor said to Ling Yuhua, "You still need to enlighten that Ling Xiao of your family. Don't ruin the relationship between the Chen and Ling families because of some trivial matter." "Don't worry, prefectural governor. I understand," Ling Yuhua said hurriedly. "All right, I'll return to Ascension Hall first. Remember, on the day of the Ascension ritual, all adult warriors from both families must come to Ascension Hall to drink. This is a major matter that concerns the fairness of the Ascension ritual. Don't forget." After saying that, the prefectural governor left with his entourage. Afterward, Qin Songhai also bid farewell to Ling Yuhua. On the way, Qin Kuan asked Qin Songhai very unhappily, "Grandfather, why didn't you let me kill that Ling Xiao? Why are you in such a hurry? When the Ascension ritual begins, it'll be the end of the Ling family." Qin Songhai sneered. "That old thing Ling Yuhua probably never dreamed that we would cooperate with the prefectural governor." "Grandfather, you mean to uproot the Ling family?" Chen Kuan asked in surprise. "That's right. So don't think about that Ling Mayu of the Ling family. She's going to die eventually." Chen Songhai said in a deep voice, "A real man can't be swayed by love. Do you understand?" "I understand." Chen Kuan didn't have any feelings for Ling Moyu. Although he liked her, it was only because of her beauty. He didn't care about losing such a woman. Let's go back and plan. We must ensure that the entire plan goes smoothly. Chen Songhai didn't want to say too much on the way. If someone overheard, the entire plan would fall through. At this moment, Ling Yuhua felt that there was something wrong with this ascension ritual. He also had a very uneasy feeling from the bottom of his heart. However, he couldn't figure out the reason. He had always been wary of the Chen family. The only thing he didn't expect was that the prefectural governor of the 8 Immortals County would help the Chen family deal with them. Ling Xiao naturally didn't know this. However, this did not affect him much. He didn't care about the life and death of the Ling family. However, when the nest is overturned, no egg can remain intact. If he were to find out about these schemes, he would probably still intervene. After all, the Ling family was now in a cooperative relationship with him, while the Chen family was in a hostile relationship. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. What's more, they were working together. Little brother, my cultivation has broken through to the 5th Grotto Heaven realm. In the courtyard, Ling Jiaojiao excitedly said to Ling Xiao, "Not bad. This way, you can even suppress that Ling Moyu. Only Ling Jian is slightly stronger than you." Ling Xiao was truly happy for Ling Jiaojiao. The situation among the younger generation was very obvious. Chen Pai and Qin Kuan were in the first tier. Ling Jian and Ling Jiaojiao belonged to the second tier. Ling Yan, Ling Moyu, Chen Xingji, and Qin could be classified as the third tier. As for the remaining people, they could all be considered as the first rank. In the past, Ling Jiaojiao was not even as good as Ling Moyu. Since she followed Ling Xiao, she defeated Ling Moyu at the annual meeting. Now, she completely crushed Ling Moyu. Ling Xiao was an exception. He had no interest in competing with these people. His goal was always to become a martial artist of a higher level. Ling Xiao, why do you not participate in the Yuhua sacrifice? My strength has increased now. Although I may not be as good as the Qin family, I won't lose too badly. In any case, the Ling family has never treated you well. Why should you take the risk for the Ling family's management rights in Yuhua town? In the end, Ling Jiaojiao was still worried about Ling Xiao. She did not know what had happened to Ling Xiao in the past month, but she was very clear about Chen Kuan and Chen Pai's terrifying strength. It was said that Chen Kuan's cultivation had broken through again, reaching the 8th Grotto Heaven realm. Chen Pai was even more terrifying, reaching the 9th Grotto Heaven realm. Facing these two people, Ling Xiao had no chance of winning. She knew that Ling Xiao's aptitude was better, but Chen Kuan and Chen Pai had truly lived for nearly 20 years and cultivated until now. As for Ling Xiao, he belonged to the Samsara realm. In fact, he had only cultivated for about 14 months. No matter how fast a Samsara realm martial artist cultivated, he could not compare to someone else's nearly 20 years of bitter cultivation. Jiao Jiao, the one you should be worried about is not me. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, "Although I can't be sure, I feel that the Qin family will definitely not show mercy in the Yuhua sacrifice this time. Not only do they want to kill me, but they might also want to kill you, Ling Jian, Ling Yan, and all the descendants of the Ling family." He did not tell this to anyone because he did not have evidence. It was just his intuition and speculation, but he believed that Ling Jiaojiao would trust him, so he said it. What? Ling Jiaojiao was dumbfounded when she heard this. Although she had not received much care since she was young, blood was thicker than water. She was different from Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was not a biological descendant of the Ling family, but she was. If the Chen family really intended to do this, then she must stop them. Don't worry so much. This is just my speculation. Maybe nothing will happen. But to be prepared, I have a formation refining stone here. Keep it carefully. If something really happens that you can't solve, use the formation refining stone. At least those brats from the Qin family won't be able to solve it. Ling Xiao took out a formation refining stone and gave it to Ling Jiao. He reminded her, "This formation refining stone can only be used once, so you have to use it at the most critical moment. Don't use it on irrelevant people. Also, you don't have to worry about me. Chun Kuin and Chin Pai will die in my hands sooner or later. Have I ever lied to you?" Ling Jiao took the formation refining stone and was stunned for a while. She thought to herself, "It seems that's true. Ling Xiao has never lied to me. If he said he would defeat someone, then he would definitely defeat them. Why should she be overly worried? All right then, but can I share your intuition with the others?" Ling Jiao asked. "Yes, but people will definitely not believe it." Ling Xiao understood that Ling Jiao was different from other people in the Ling family. She was not a heartless person. Therefore, there were some words that Ling Jiao knew would be ridiculed, but she would still say it. As for whether it would be effective or not, that was another matter. She had to have a clear conscience. Not long after Ling Jiao left, someone came to the small courtyard to make trouble. In fact, it was not a trouble. They just came to complain. Ling Jian and Ling Moyu both came. They did not dare to rush into Ling Zhao's small courtyard. They could only question Ling Xiao at the door. Ling Jian said, "You measure the heart of a gentleman with the heart of a villain. Qin Kuin and Mo are engaged. How could he be ruthless to her? Yes, Brother Kuin is not a shameless person like you." Chapter 2132. Haha, when there's really trouble, I hope you won't ask me to save you. Ling Xiao sneered and said, "Believe it or not, get lost." After saying that, Ling Xiao waved his hand, and the door of the small courtyard closed with a bang. Ling Jian and Ling Moyu both had ugly expressions. "Let's go, Moyu. The facts will prove everything. When the time comes, I'll see what Ling Xiao has to say." Finally, Ling Jian took a deep breath and said, "Well, I believe in Brother Zhao's character. He absolutely won't do anything to me." Ling Moyu nodded, and the two left together. Ling Xiao didn't know about this, nor was he interested in knowing. He really didn't care about the life and death of these two people at all. 2 days later, the Ascension sacrifice officially began. All the adult martial artists of the Ling family and the Chun family went to the banquet in Ascension Hall. After all, it was the 8 Immortals County's county chief who invited them, and no one dared to disobey. The juniors of the two families all gathered outside the Ascension mountain range to prepare for the 3-day survival test in the wild. This was also the essence of the Ascension sacrifice. Anyone whose cultivation had reached the celestial realm or above had to participate in this test, while those whose cultivation had not reached the required level had to stay in the courtyard. In terms of total number, the Qin family had more juniors than the Ling family, and a lot more. The Ling family only had 75 juniors, while the Chun family had more than 100. But no one said that this was unfair. After all, the Chun family's ability to produce more than 100 juniors who had reached the celestial realm was also their ability. In terms of overall strength, except for the variable Ling Xiao, the Qin family was also stronger than the Ling family. But even so, there were too many variables to survive in the wild. Not only did they have to survive for 3 days, but they also had to hunt as many monster cores as possible. The whole process was monitored by the experts sent by the 8 Immortals County. So cheating was impossible and no one dared to do so. Once they did, the final outcome might be even worse. At the same time, the two families in Ascension Hall were also talking and laughing in harmony. It was a completely peaceful scene. Those who didn't know would think that the relationship between the two families was very good. Only the two families knew that they had been fighting in private for so many years. On the way, the younger generation of the Ling family walked in front under the leadership of Ling Jian and Ling Moyu. On the other hand, Ling Xiao and Ling Jiao were completely separated from the rest of the group. falling far behind them. It was as if they did not fit in with the group in front of them. Ling Xiao, you must be careful. Although I believe that you have the means to protect yourself, since you have already guessed that those fellows from the Qin family will do anything to kill you, you must be very careful. Then they will definitely not be open and above board. They will definitely play tricks. You must be careful. Ling Jiaojiao had already told the Ling family everything she needed to say, but to her dismay, no one was willing to listen to her. However, she was not sad. She had done everything she could. Now, the person she cared about the most was still Ling Xiao. You don't have to worry about me. You, on the other hand, remember to use the Alchemy Formation Stone at critical moments. As long as you activate the Alchemy Formation Stone, I will know that you are in trouble and will definitely rush over to save you. Ling Jiaojiao cared about Ling Xiao, and Ling Xiao also cared about Ling Jiaojiao. This was a true family, unlike the rest of the Ling family, who treated their own people like enemies. It made people quite speechless. When they were about to reach their destination, Ling Jian and Ling Mayu deliberately walked to the back of the group. Ling Jian looked at Ling Xiao indifferently and said, "Grandpa said that if you are in danger, you can ask me for help. Although I really hate you, since it is Grandpa's order, I will definitely obey." Ling Mayu also said, "Me too. I believe that if I plead with Brother Zhao, he should give me face. Hee. I hope that the person who asks for help in the end is me and not you." Ling Xiao smiled, and a hint of ridicule appeared on his face. Ling Yuhua still knew to protect him, but unfortunately it was too late. If he had been good to him and his parents when he entered the world of reincarnation, then he would definitely not be ungrateful today. But now, this kind of hypocritical protection only made him feel disgusted. Dog-biting Lu Rinxian. You don't know how to appreciate kindness. Big brother, let's go. Ling Mayu heard Ling Jian's words and was naturally very unhappy. Ling Jian nodded and immediately left. At this time, everyone of the Qin family had gathered at the departure place. Waiting there were also experts from the 8 Immortals County. Seeing Ling Xiao, Qin Kuan revealed a sinister smile and made a throat-slitting gesture. The meaning was obvious. He wanted to kill Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao did not pay attention to him. This was the second time Ling Xiao completely ignored Qin Kuan. At this time, Ling Xiao's eyes were fixed on the experts sent by the 8 Immortals County. There were a total of 4 experts, all of whom were high-level Grotto Heaven Realm martial artists. The strongest among them was at the 10th Grotto Heaven Realm, and the other 3 were at the 9th Grotto Heaven Realm. These 4 were the supervisors and referees of this survival in the wilderness. The person in the lead was wearing an official's robe. He should be someone from the imperial court. His face was cold, revealing a strong murderous aura. Who knew how many evildoers had been killed by his hands? Reporting to Lord Lin, all of the Ling family's younger generation of Heaven Realm martial artists have arrived. Ling Jian stepped forward, cupped his hands, and said to the person in the lead, "And since you're here, let's go." Lord Lin only responded coldly and then walked forward. The 3 people under him disappeared into the forest, making it so mysterious how ridiculous. Ling Xiao could not help but laugh in his heart. If he was just an ordinary child, he would probably be very respectful to Lord Lin. However, he was a martial artist who had reincarnated, and his cultivation was much stronger than Lord Lin's. Therefore, he did not have the slightest respect for Lord Lin. Instead, he was vigilant. He had the Tai Chi eye and was very sensitive to anyone's aura. 2 days ago, he had deduced that the county governor and the Chen family might be harmful to the Ling family. It was not just a simple intuition, but also came from the viciousness and murderous aura he felt from the county governor and Chen Songhai. Today, the same aura came from Lord Lin, and it made him very uncomfortable. However, only he could feel this aura. The others followed closely behind. That Ling Mayu even shamelessly ran to the Qin family's team and chatted with Qin Zhao, arm in arm. How was there any meaning of competition? She was just short of sending herself to someone else's bed. No, perhaps Qin Kuan had already slept with this woman. Ling Jiaojiao followed Ling Xiao from beginning to end. In her world, there was only Ling Xiao. To her, other people were really nothing. Jiaojiao, didn't you admire Qin Pai before? Today your idol is here. Why don't you come and talk to him? Ling Mo was clearly deliberately trying to embarrass Ling Xiao. In the entire Ling family, the only one who was willing to walk with Ling Xiao was Ling Jiaojiao. Chapter 2133. Qin Pai also looked at Ling Jiaojiao. This kid was younger than Qin Pai, but he had a jade-like face and starry eyes. He was a typical handsome guy. Not only that, but his cultivation was stronger than Qin Kuan's. Standing there, although his face was cold, he charmed many girls. Whether it was the girls of the Qin family or the Ling family, they all howled at him, just like female dogs in heat. However, Ling Jiaojiao just glanced at Ling Moyu indifferently and said, "Sister, don't you know what time it is now? Once you enter the Feather Mountain Range, the Ling family and the Qin family will become competitors. Don't you think there's something wrong with you beaming with joy with your opponent? Don't be sold and count the money for them." Perhaps because she had been with Ling Xiao for a long time, Ling Jiaojiao did not have the slightest good impression of the Qin family. You really think that Ling Xiao has taught you bad things? You really are a nest of snakes and rats. Good-for-nothing things. Ling Moyu shouted angrily, "Loser, you actually dare to say that others are good for nothing. I think you'd better put your mind on cultivation. Otherwise, do you think you still have a status in the Ling family?" Ling Jiaojiao's mouth did not yield, and her words hit the nail on the head. "Ha ha ha, well said. Some people want to suck up to others with a thick face and complain that others don't suck up to them. Don't you feel ashamed?" Ling Xiao laughed heartily, but it made Qin Pai's face gloomy like a black fog. "Sooner or later you'll cry." Qin Pai gritted his teeth and secretly thought. He could not wait for the feather sacrifice to begin now. The moment the feather sacrifice began was his hunting time. "Okay. From here on out, the entire Feather Mountain Range is your wilderness survival site. If you feel that you don't have the ability, just move around the edge. If you feel that you have the ability, go deeper. I only have one request, and that is, after 3 days, bring the demonic beast cores you've hunted and gather here. When scoring, it will be based on the demonic beast cores you've obtained and the survival rate of you martial artists. Do you understand?" Lord Lin, who was walking at the front, suddenly stopped and turned around to say to everyone, "This guy always had a straight face when he spoke, as if everyone owed him money. Remember, your every move in this barren mountain will be under our surveillance. The crystal cores of the demonic beasts must be from the demonic beasts you hunt or snatch from the hands of others. If you prepare them in advance and are discovered by us, you will die." Everyone was guessing how these 4 people were going to monitor the 100 or so people. Sir Lin seemed to have read their minds and said, "If any of you think you're strong enough to escape our surveillance, you can try. If you get killed, don't blame us for being ruthless." Hearing Master Lin's words, the young boys and girls were all extremely nervous, but at the same time he relaxed. In that case, if they were in danger, these people would probably save them. Ling Moyu and Ling Jian increasingly did not believe in Ling Xiao's warning. They increasingly felt that Ling Xiao was simply gauging the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain. "You are not allowed to have any objections to the rules. All right, let's start climbing the mountain." Lord Lin waved his hand and released a dense, murderous aura, scaring many people into hurriedly rushing into the dense forest. However, at that moment, there were mournful screams. Someone was killed by the demonic beasts ambushing in the forest. Because there was such an emergence sacrifice every year, some demonic beasts had also grasped this rule. On this day, a large number of demonic beasts would ambush the martial artists on the path they must pass through and carry out a sneak attack. Don't panic. Qin family people, follow me. Chen Pai was indeed the strongest of the younger generation of the Qin family. In this situation, he was still very calm. Since the demonic beasts have an ambush, it saves us a lot of time. With this order, the Chen family people calmed down and followed Chen Pai, Qin Kuan, Qin Xingji, and Chen Du to start a counterattack against the demonic beasts. Ling Moyu, that stupid woman, also joined the ranks of the Qin family. This caused Ling Jian to be unable to maintain his composure. Ling family children, follow me. But there was no other way. The Qin family had already started hunting demonic beasts. Their Ling family could not fall behind. Ling Jian called out to Ling Yan, and the two led the rest of the children to the other side. Jiao Jiao, follow the group. If there are any changes, you can fish in troubled waters. Ling Xiao planned to enter the depths of the Emergence mountain range, so of course he could not bring Ling Jiao Jiao along. Fortunately, there were many people in the Ling family. Ling Xiao felt that even if the Chen family had plans to attack the Ling family, they would not rashly launch an attack. At least Ling Jiao Jiao was relatively safe with Ling Jian and the others. I'll listen to you. Ling Jiao Jiao nodded and stepped into the dense forest. At this point, only Ling Xiao was still outside. His gaze was coldly cast towards Lord Lin. It made Lord Lin's hair stand. Bastard, why aren't you going in? Lord Lin roared. Before you go in, I want you to help me pass a message to your county governor. I don't care about other people's lives, and I won't stop you from doing whatever you want. But if you dare to hurt someone, he will definitely regret it. After saying that, Ling Xiao scurried into the dense forest without looking back. Lord, that kid seems to have guessed our plan. As soon as Ling Xiao left, a person scurried out of the dense forest and said to Lord Lin, "So what if he guessed it?" How dare he threaten the county governor? Who does he think he is? Don't worry so much. Act according to the original plan. Lord Lin waved his hand. Of course, he would not take Ling Xiao's words to heart. However, Lord Lin might not have thought that this casual way of handling things would cause his family to be destroyed and he would die a tragic death. Sometimes people were like this. When the opportunity to live was right in front of them and they did not cherish it, it would be too late when they turned around and wanted to grab it again. Not to mention them, Ling Xiao had already entered the pitch-black, dense forest and was heading deeper. He was not interested in the mission of the Ascension ritual. Whoever won or lost did not have much to do with him. He only wanted to use this opportunity to kill those two bastards, Qin Kuan and Chen Pai. However, the Ascension ritual would last for 3 days, and he was not in a hurry. He would wait for those fellows to obtain enough demonic beast crystal cores before he suddenly made his move. At that time, not only would he be able to kill those two fellows, but he would also obtain a large number of demonic beast crystal cores. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and he would be able to obtain a large number of demonic beast crystal cores. Over the next 2 days, he planned to take the opportunity to explore deeper and see if he could find better herbs to help him refine better pills. It would lay a good foundation for him to advance to the Yin-Yang realm. Although he would definitely succeed in advancing to the Yin-Yang realm again, the process was still not that easy and required the help of pills. Chapter 2134. In 2 days, Ling Xiao had gathered a large number of herbs deep in the mountains. Regardless of whether they were useful or not, his mountain river world was big enough to accommodate them. He wasn't sure what kind of pills he would refine in the future. Therefore, the more herbs he had, the better. Moreover, the herbs in the Black Tortoise continent were much better than those in the Divine Phoenix continent. He even wanted to move the entire Feather Mountain range. Unfortunately, he didn't have the ability to do so. HM, isn't that Lord Lin? On the afternoon of the second day, Ling Xiao had already entered deeper into the wilderness than the previous time. To ensure his safety, he used his Taiji eye to carefully observe his surroundings. Suddenly, he saw a figure a few kilometers away. Upon closer inspection, he saw that it was Lord Lin of the Eight Immortals County. What is this fellow doing here instead of supervising the assessment? Ling Xiao was puzzled, so he sped up and flew forward. After about half a kilometer, his Taiji eye became clearer. A few hundred meters away from Lord Lin, a ferocious demon beast was crouching. This demon beast's strength had reached the peak of the half-step yin-yang realm. This was a true Grotto Heaven demon king. This demon beast looked like a huge lion, but it was a little strange. This lion's body was black like coal, but its eyes emitted a golden light that made people tremble. Golden-eyed black lion. Ling Xiao remembered that there was such a ferocious creature in the book. According to the book, wherever the golden-eyed black lion appeared, the hell fruit would definitely appear. Ling Xiao looked in the direction of the golden-eyed black lion and was overjoyed. There really was a fruit tree about a meter tall there, and there were 4 fruits on the tree that emitted the aura of hell. The fruit looked strange, like a ball of black flame. They looked like they hadn't ripened yet. The hell fruit was good stuff. Directly consuming it could greatly increase a Grotto Heaven realm martial artist's cultivation. The amount of increase depended on the individual's potential. If it was refined into the yin-yang hell pill and directly consumed, it could allow a half-step yin-yang realm martial artist to step into the yin-yang realm without any hindrance. This was definitely a divine pill. No wonder Master Lin was guarding there. It was probably for the hell fruit. However, based on Ling Xiao's understanding of the hell fruit, it would take at least 10 days for it to ripen. Master Lin did not understand these things, which was why he had been guarding this place. Otherwise, as long as the golden-eyed black lion was here, no one would dare to casually pick it. No matter what, help me guard it. I, Ling Xiao, will definitely get the hell fruit. With a sneer, Ling Xiao changed his direction and fled to the other side. After running for about a mile, he suddenly stopped. Your Excellency has been following me for so long. Aren't you afraid of being tired? Ling Xiao turned around and looked at a dense patch of shrubs as he spoke. From the bushes, a cold light suddenly shot out and attacked Ling Xiao. Then a figure rushed over almost at the same time. Ling Xiao saw it clearly in an instant. It was none other than one of Master Lin's 3 subordinates, a guy whose cultivation had reached Grotto Heaven Realm 9. His face turned cold. He had already warned these bastards not to attack him. This guy actually attacked him directly? In that case, don't blame him. Seeing the cold light fly over, Ling Xiao instantly activated the Hell Dragon Seal and entered his Hell human dragon form. In that instant, his aura suddenly soared, and his battle strength rose by at least 3 realms. His cultivation was originally at the middle level of the Grotto Heaven realm, which was equivalent to an ordinary warrior's Grotto Heaven Realm 6 cultivation. Now that his battle strength had risen by 3 realms, it was equivalent to his opponent's realm. Under such circumstances, he had always been able to crush his opponents. Clang! The cold light was sent flying by Ling Xiao's casual slap. How could the tough dragon claw be so easily pierced? That person seemed to have realized that the situation was not good. He turned around and tried to escape, but suddenly an ice arrow shot down from the sky. Although it did not pierce through that person, it made that person stagger and his movements become much slower. It was naturally the godly codex that had released the secret ice arrow. Beautiful! Ling Xiao praised. He instantly appeared in front of that person and grabbed his neck with his terrifying dragon claw. Then he activated his 3-leaf demon eyes. Soul capture. He wanted to find out something from this person, but was too lazy to ask. Therefore, he decided to use the 3-leaf demon eyes to capture the soul. Why are you following me? Ling Xiao asked. That person's eyes were glazed over as he replied mechanically, Lord Lin ordered me to kill anyone within a 1-mile radius of the hell fruit. I see. Tell me everything you know about the ascension, sacrifice, Ling Xiao said again. The county governor ordered us to assist the younger generation of the Chen family to kill the younger generation of the Ling family. The battle has been going on for a long time, and not many of the younger generation of the Ling family are left. That person answered. What? Ling Xiao had previously predicted that the Chen family would make a move, but he did not expect it to be to this extent. If anything happens to Jiao Jiao, I will make your county governor pay with his life. Ling Xiao suddenly exerted force in his hand, and the 9th Grotto Heaven realm martial artist died on the spot. He was burned to ashes by the black flames. Godly Codex, let's go. Ling Xiao used the meteor steps and shuttled through the dense forest. Godly Codex flew back into Ling Xiao's storage ring. Although it was just a small demonstration, Ling Xiao and Godly Codex worked well together. Godly Codex's secret sword attack might not be very powerful, but it could be of great use at critical moments. For Ling Xiao, Godly Codex was a great help at this stage. Godly Codex, as long as you help me sincerely, I will definitely help you break the seal and reconstruct your physical body. Ling Xiao was a very simple person. He would treat anyone who treated him well. If the Ling family had treated him slightly better, he would have repaid them generously. Unfortunately, they did not. The Ling family had completely disappointed him. He was not going to save others. He was going purely for Ling Jiao Jiao. Ling Xiao opened his Tai Chi eye and could clearly see the situation a few miles ahead. In addition to that person's guidance, he did not want to go in the wrong direction. As for why the Chen family would join forces with the county governor of the 8th Immortals County to eliminate the Ling family, he did not know. He did not want to know, because to him it did not matter much. His figure streaked through the forest like a meteor. Many corpses began to appear on the ground. Most of them were from the Ling family. Occasionally, 1 or 2 corpses of the Chen family's disciples would appear. After all, the Ling family's martial artists were not to be trifled with. Ling Jian, Ling Jiao Jiao, and Ling Yan were not to be trifled with. There were people there. About 5 to 6 miles away, Ling Xiao saw a few people surrounded by the Qin family. However, the aura was too chaotic and he could not see who was there. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.